Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Off and running on this November 11th. It is also Friday, but more importantly, it is Veterans Day. So a big thank you, a big salute, a big tip of the hat, and couldn't tell you how much we appreciate all you do for us. Everybody who is serving, everybody who has served, and those who paid the ultimate price for us to be able to sit here and talk about sports for 3 hours. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I'm Rob Ellis, along with Barrett Brooks, D. Gunn. What's up, guys?
What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, I just wanted to, thank everybody also. That's the freedoms that we have, is for the people that protect them. And I really appreciate all the veterans. I really do.
I know we take what we have in this country sometimes, freedom of speech, for granted when you look at all the crises around the world and how restricted they are in terms of what they can do, what they can say, what they can write. And the primary reason we have these freedoms is because of all the men and women who put their lives on the line for us each and every day and have for decades, for many, many years. My dad fought in the Korean War, so I know what that's like. And, thank God he came back home when so many didn't during that time. And then, of course, it's been Vietnam, it's been Afghanistan, so on and so forth. And, now the crisis over in the Ukraine. Yes, I can't say enough. I don't think there are enough days to honor veterans in a calendar year. I think we should have even more.
Every day is Veterans Day, as far as I'm concerned, man. Yeah. Every single day.
No question about that. No question.
So we thank you, and we thank people like William Stark, right?
Yeah.
Spent 4 years in the military in the early 70s. Thank you, William. Appreciate you.
Thank you, William. Yeah.
Every single one of our chat room, our stream, our listening audience, for those of you, thank you. Thank you very much. So how we doing? So today's 11, if my math is right, 11/11/22.
That is true. Today is my daughter Tina. Today is my daughter Tina's wedding anniversary. Also.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy
5
years,
Tina. Yeah.
Yep.
And then 5 years today.
But I'm having conflicts right now. Here we have Captain Tony. one of my best friends. They go out fishing today.
The show didn't even start, Barrett. He's already in.
He's already taking shots,
bro.
Captain Tony.
No, this is the problem though. The problem is they went out at 7, caught their limit by 7:30, and was back to the docks by 8:30.
Oh,
jeez, that's a quick turnaround there. In and out.
Do you know what that meant?
That
meant I could have went.
Yep.
And they knew it was going to be this. They knew Cap Tony knew it was going to be this way because it's been like that for the past week.
What did they catch?
Stripers. They caught 20.
And they got out before the rain hit too.
And back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could have got back for the meeting, not just the show.
Could have done it all, man.
I'd have been back for the 11 o'clock meeting. We have a pre-production meeting every day at 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I could have got back for it, but hey, friends like Tony,
man, that's
I
cool.
don't even call them friends. I call them family. It's my family.
Hey, man.
Well, why didn't you go?
I think you guys need to have a talk.
They didn't. First of all, this is what they did. They drove the boat down to Florida, went through the storm, drove it right back, got back here, didn't probably even sleep. went straight to the boat. They went up to our friends, Captain Jeffrey, up in it's like in just before you get to North Jersey.
Okay.
And they go out on his boat. I'm going on Sunday. Believe that. So
Wait a minute.
They think they're not gonna do it, huh?
Why did they drive the boat to Florida and then turn around and drive it right back up here?
Because they go down there. That's his mom's got a house down there. They go down there. He's a house down there. Boats down there. They fish all the time. They go down there all the time.
I get that, but doesn't he have more than one boat?
Yeah, you got.
Why don't he just leave one there and leave one here?
Well, it's actually the owner of the marina's boat.
Yeah,
but it's like his boat. You know what I'm saying? He does what he wants with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, but still, you could have left one there and one here.
Bro, that's rich people problem. You trying to trying to get me to answer a question like that. I don't have a rich people problem.
Well, you should understand that when they talk about rich people problem.
How is that? I take old stuff and make it look new.
I'm not going into that.
There you go.
That's
but anyway, what's the limit? What's the limit on striper this time of year?
It's two for each person.
Yeah, because when we fished the Chesapeake, normally it's 2 a person, but one year we went out and the fishing game was concerned about the numbers being thinned out. It was 1 a person. So Rob, Rob, when I don't think you've ever done it, but like when you charter a boat,
right,
it could cost you for striper fishing, it'll cost you like maybe $120 a person.
Yeah.
And then you have to throw in a tip. So
sure.
As well, whether you catch fish or not. And there's a time limit. Like you could either go out 6:30 to 2 or 2 to dusk. You get one of those. And when I went out for my birthday, my brother organized this. The time I went out for my birthday, several years or maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was raining. It was pouring most of the morning. We were having a good time. The music was playing. It was like 9 of us. Barrett was with us, and we just had a good time. And we're thinking we're not going to get any fish today. And then all of a sudden, when they told us that we're going to have to, we got to go. We got another crew waiting at the docks. So they go out to start reeling in. He's got like 20 something reels out at one time in the water. All of a sudden, the depth finder screen lit up bright red. I mean, the whole screen's red. It was like gold, landed on top of gold. Everybody got their limit in like 15 minutes.
Awesome.
All you heard was,
oh, yeah. Lines were crossed and tangled, and people were so excited. It was like the Keystone Cops. Everybody's grabbing lines. The captain's like, wait, wait. Yep, go ahead. I don't care.
Awesome.
Just go. But then another time, a couple of years ago, I went out, and we got our limit in like an hour. We were done.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
It just ends when that's the case. Do you guys have
when
to go
you get
back
your
in?
limit? Yeah, when you get your limit, that's it.
Man.
That's why you got to get friends with boats, because friends with boats, they can go out.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, you can just stay out as much as you want to. It's just just the price of diesel is so damn expensive.
Right now.
Well, you can stay out as much as you want, but you can still only keep a certain limit, though.
True.
Oh no, Captain says 1 per.
Oh, it's 1. This time of year is 1. Wow.
Look at that fish. Famous. I'm not famous.
Yeah,
these 2 gentlemen are famous. I'm not famous.
Captain Tony, you're right. Ever since he got his own show, and in baritones, he's getting a segment called Baritones. I don't even know who he is anymore, to be honest.
Wow.
I used to know him as, he was, when I worked with Barrett, he was down to earth. It was B. Brooks, Brookies. Now, he's asked me at times to address him as Mr. And I'm like, what?
you had him going at first until you said that,
Oh my God. Hey, by the way, we're getting questions. Where are you, Derek Gunn?
Where am I?
The different background is throwing people off, so let them know.
So I'm in Horsham, Pennsylvania right now. I'm in a hotel, beautiful hotel in Horsham. Some of our closest friends, their youngest kid, their son, who's 28, is getting married today.
Nice.
We've known him since he was 3 years old, so he's like a son to us as well, him and his sister. And my wife is officiating the wedding. So the wedding's at 5 or 5:30. She has to be there at the venue, which is about 20 minutes from the hotel, at 3. Mm-hmm. So at some point in this show, I'm going to have to delete myself for about 10 minutes to help her load up my car to take all the stuff she has to take there. She said, I can do it myself. I'm like, yeah, right. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to get several calls. Hey, I left this. Can you get this? So when I get on the shuttle, I'm going to be carrying a basket full of stuff. No. I'm going to eliminate that process. I would much rather, if she forgot it in the car there, I don't mind going back and forth to the car. But see, why should I have to carry like a picnic basket of stuff she might leave here at the hotel? I'm thinking ahead, man.
My sister will not do that.
You want to bet? Every day like clockwork. Where's my phone? What? Dude, last week we went to a sushi place. She left us sitting on the bench where we were waiting. A guy goes, "Hey, were you guys sitting on this bench?" And I'm like, "Huh?" Well, there's a phone sitting there. I'm like, "Oh." She leaves her phone everywhere. So I'm going to eliminate the process
What
of
a
having
good
to
husband
take.
you are.
No, this is called preventive strike.
Okay. Preemptive. Yeah.
Preemptive strike.
I like it.
I'm going to make sure I get everything in that car right now. And when I have to leave for a few minutes.
Okay. All right. So today, Eagles back at practice. We haven't gotten word yet.
What? There's nothing wrong with that. It's funny. Uh-oh, I just got the death stare.
You're in trouble. Derek's in trouble. Practicing today. Now, we don't know if Avonte Maddox is practicing. This could be a little bit of an issue, guys. He's got a hamstring, did not practice yesterday, and one of his backups is banged up too, Josiah Scott. So, Avonte Maddox is unsung because Slay and Bradbury are so good, which is a good problem to have if you're the Eagles. But when you consider this receiving core that Washington has, you need Avonte Maddox out there, man. This is not a little thing. This is something to keep your eye on here.
Josiah Scott did practice today, though.
Oh, good. Okay.
He did practice yesterday and today.
Good.
Let me put it like this. Is Darius Slay out there?
Yes.
Is Bradbury out there?
Yeah.
Yes.
CJ's out there?
Yep.
If Avonte, and I love Avonte to death, if he doesn't play, not a problem considering who you're playing.
Okay.
Not a problem considering who you're playing. Now, if they were playing like Buffalo or Kansas City, I'm like, major red flag. Taylor Heineke and Washington, not a problem. They still have enough people to cover who they need to cover in this game.
I do think that, Rob, I think Avonte's gonna play.
Okay.
I think he is. Not that I know anything. Yeah, not that I know anything concretely, but I think he will.
All right. I like hearing that, man.
Yeah.
I like hearing that. I was a little concerned when I saw that today. All right. Yesterday. All right. So Sixers lose now 5-7 on the season. Flyers lose as well to Columbus. They go back to where one of Tortorella's many stops last night, and they got down 3-0. They cut it to 3-2. They lose 5-2. Johnny Hockey puts up 3 points against them, a guy they didn't have the cash to be able to grab, even though he wanted to be here.
South Jersey guy, right?
Yeah, it's correct. Gloucester County guy.
Yeah.
So a little insult to injury there. But the Sixers, and we'll get a little bit more heavy into these guys a little later, but it's been a disappointing start thus far. And I don't want to hear, James Harden isn't playing. They weren't playing well even when Harden was in there.
Well, I was going to say James Harden isn't playing, but I guess I can't say that. Yeah. No, you know what, though? I don't know how you balance this, but I think Maxi's game is directly affected by when Embiid is back on the court. You look at when Maxi does not have Embiid, he's scoring 35, 40, 41 points a game. When Embiid's on the court, he's scoring 15, 18, 20, 21. I think so. I don't know how you balance the two, but you have to find a comfortable balance for the two to make it work, especially with Harden out. There's got to be a medium, but I wonder if Doc can find that medium. And I don't want to sit here.
Figure that out.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to go there. See, I was trying to avoid that because it's Friday. We're all happy. We're at the end of the work week, but I didn't want to stir
all
that
of us
pot.
are happy.
No?
Right. No,
Who's not happy?
Rob's not happy.
Rob's not happy?
I'm not happy with the Sixers.
Rob wasn't even happy in the meeting.
I'm not happy with the Sixers. I'm not happy.
No.
What's happened? 5-7 happy? Who's happy about that? I'm not happy.
Well, Rob, what would you
Friday.
say?
It's Friday, Rob.
What do you think is the problem?
I see a sloppy team. I see a team that turns it over. I see missed assignments on defense. That starts with coaching.
That's all coaching.
Yeah. And I see a team that just isn't improving. Tyrese Maxey's trying to do too much right now, and I think that's an issue. He's forcing it a little bit. I think in light of Harden not being there, I get that. And Joel, while he had his moments early last night, didn't play well really the last 3 quarters of that game. They made the run late with the second team. And then naturally, Doc Rivers pulls the second team out, and the first team comes in, and the Sixers lose. He has no feel for anything in game. None.
Okay.
So are you gonna?
According to Rob, he'll be gone before Christmas.
You still thinking that?
Yeah, I'm staying by it. I'll stand by it.
You gonna stand by that?
Yes.
Well, it's become a precedent in the city now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're hearing a lot more of it. You are. I think it should have been done the off season, but the only thing that may buy Doc that post Christmas time is Harden being out. Daryl Morey may look at it and say if he had the full complement and they were still losing like this, it might be one thing. Not having Harden might get him into January, February.
Well, we were worse when Harden and Embiid were on the field. I mean,
they were worse
court together.
Yeah, they were. They didn't play well then, so that's why I'm not buying it.
Well, let's say the demise of Doc Rivers comes to fruition based on the words that are spoken by the one and only Rob Ellis. Mm-hmm. Who do you turn the reins over to? 9 times out of 10, it's an assistant coach, which means the message is going to be basically the same. And is that message falling on deaf ears?
Well, we said the same thing about the Phillies and what happened.
Well, that's true.
That's true. Here's what worries me. I'm not a Mike D'Antoni fan.
Right.
And I feel like because Harden loves him and Morey loves Harden, that it'll be Mike D'Antoni. And which means you'll score a lot, but you won't defend at all. And ultimately, when you get to the playoffs, you got to be able to defend.
So if you bring in somebody off the street, then you have to add into the equation, how long does it take for a team to get acclimated to a complete new structure? Because he's going to want to come in and put his own niche on the team, especially in midseason.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. And now, could they go the Sam Cassell, Dave Yeager route? Sure. I mean, yeah, I think they could go that direction. But
that's what I was thinking. Maybe Sam Cassell. He has a great working relationship with the guards on the team.
Yeah.
This is a guard-driven league. Maybe they do that. I mean,
they could.
That's the first thing John Dickerson said. I mean, that's to go with this team. Maybe you do that.
Yeah, and I know. Look, he's got a great relationship with Maxey. Those two are extremely tight. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like this kind of situation where we're talking about coaching replacements, but it got so obvious with the Phillies that it was time, and it's starting to feel like that with the Sixers. Now, that doesn't get the players off the hook either. And we're getting into a lot of years now with Embiid, and they haven't gotten out of the second round. So, he bears some of that too.
Well, maybe that's it right there. Maybe that's it. A lot of years.
When Rob Thompson took over, this team was healthy. Okay. True. And then all of a sudden the dominoes started to fall. This team hasn't been healthy out of the gate, And like you said a few moments ago, how much time is that going to buy Doc Rivers? Now Harden's out a month, less than a month now, but who knows? He could be out longer than that. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Embiid was out 3 straight games because of an illness. He had the plantar fasciitis problem during the summer. That thing can resurface at any given moment. And so you wonder if there's no consistency in the roster, especially when it comes to playing football, you can make up for one guy. When it comes to basketball, when you have one definitive guy out, that's a huge difference in the way you attack and defend. And if Embiid is up and down all season, I mean, who do you blame? I mean, what can you blame on that?
Yeah, no, I hear
you. I mean, I agree with you. I think Doc Rivers is no longer the right man for the job, but he has that built-in excuse if this roster continues to keep going the way it is in terms of this guy in, this guy out, this guy back in, this guy now out. There's no continuity.
I hear you. Hi, Mama Brooks.
Hey, how you doing, Mom? Well, I mean, do you think it is age that's hurting them right now?
Who? Harden?
I mean, you got Tobias Harris, he's 30. You got Harden, you got Embiid. Those guys are pretty old now.
They're not young. Maxey's young, but you look at most of the rest of the team. Tucker's old, Embiid's sort of middle-aged. I would say
Tucker's 37.
Yeah, for sure.
We act like his. I'll sit back thinking about it. Man, we got really enamored by PJ Tucker in the playoffs and how he played in the playoffs.
Right.
You got Duke.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we got Duke, but I'm just saying what you see now is usually what you're going to get because, PJ Tucker, he's not going to average the 15 points a game like he did during the playoffs.
He's not going to score points for you. He needs to just rebound and play defense.
I told you guys that in the summer. I watched him when he was with Milwaukee. What he was in Milwaukee was exactly what he was in Miami, is exactly what he is with the 76ers. I think he's not going to give you any point production, first of all. Mm-hmm. I think you should bring him off the bench. I mean, he's a good defensive player. I think he should come off the bench. I don't think he should be starting. He gives you nothing offensively in the starting lineup. I mean, he's averaging, 3-4 points a game? Playing 30-something minutes a game? He gives you nothing offensively. Mm-hmm. Why not bring him off the bench? Let him be that spark. Let him be that defensive spark off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I think there's a lot of things that they need to take into consideration for sure to get this thing going, and not just, hey, let's just, where do we get Harden back? Or, you're just, I think you're sticking your head in the sand.
Yeah.
If that's the case. I wanted to bounce this off you guys early. Well, and we have Brandon Lee Galton joining us at 12:30. We mentioned this earlier in the week. It's been weird because this will be 2 straight Sundays the Eagles haven't played. They played last Thursday, a week ago yesterday, and they don't play on Monday night. It's really strange, and it's put, I don't want to say damper, but it's sort of cool. Like when you have a team that's 8-0, the city should be on fire. Should be
no question. Flames. Yes, you're right. You're right.
And it sort of feels like, for whatever reason, it's all tampered a little bit. And I don't like it, but it is what it is. It's just weird more than anything else for me.
Like it should be, the city should be on fire. It should be nonstop Eagles talk right now. Eagles action this, Eagles this. And it seems like, I'm just equating it to us just coming off a World Series loss.
Yeah.
But the World Series loss was last week.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, it was less than a week ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we should have jumped right back on to the Eagles bandwagon. I mean, is it because their game is not that flashy, high potency type of game? Or I mean, what?
I think you hit it on the head. I think we've gotten to a point because people expect the Eagles to win, and you look at the rest of their schedule. I think we're spoiled right now. We look at how they're playing in a very inconsistent NFC conference, okay? And you look at who's left on their schedule, and we're talking about, hey, they could run the table. So I think the talk will, as weird as this sounds, I think the talk will increase if they lose a game.
I agree.
That's when the talk will increase.
There's not enough. It's been too good, and they're too. This is going to sound nuts. They're too professional. Like they've gone about their business so well. They're such a well-oiled machine thus far that there's not enough to bitch about. Okay,
that's exactly what it is, right?
We're keeping it real. Just keep
it
real.
That's true. That's so true.
And it's a great problem to have if you're an NFL team. Like you want that. That's exactly what you want. But but from a city, like it's just like from a sport. And I don't like this either. Like I don't want to create crap. I'm happy with what the Eagles are doing, but it's almost like we need someone. There has to be some, TO moment or something like that.
Somebody going to jail.
Cranked up. Yeah. No, it's very true, man. And I don't, it's crazy.
Bro, I said, yeah.
Somebody needs to be doing sit-ups in the driveway. You know what I mean? And we don't, and I'm glad we don't have that, but I think that's part of it a little bit here. Yes, the Phillies play a part, no doubt.
People got mad at me because I said that it was a win, but it was a boring win. And they said, oh, they had, 4 plays of over, 4 touchdowns over 25 yards. I'm like, I'm not saying it's bad to have a boring win, because that shows the consistency of a team that understands what it takes to win football games. It's not hard for them because they go about crossing their T's and dotting their I's. They're doing the little things that eventually add up to big things, and that's why they're winning the way they're winning. You want that type of win. That's not always the flashy win. When I won a Super Bowl, it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We were just handing the ball off, and every once in a while we'll throw it up to one of the receivers.
Hines Ward or somebody like that.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a real flashy type wins. And, everybody wants those high-flying acrobatics that's gotten, Allen right now hurting because he's getting his head cracked open because he's doing too much and trying to run all the time.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up because you were the one defending Jalen Hurts for all the running he was doing. And I kept saying, I don't want my quarterback running that much. Now, luckily, the last 3 games, his running has been minimized because he doesn't have to. But I don't want to see a quarterback run. What?
I'm saying this. I didn't say that. I said, don't take the intangibles away from him. If he can do it, he can still do it.
Yes, but 17 rushing attempts. Now, I understand in one game he had to do it out of necessity.
Against the Detroit Lions, yeah.
Detroit. Now, but when you got to run 17 times, that's open season on a quarterback, dude. And look what happened to Josh Allen. Prime example. That's why I say I don't want to see it happen.
Even still, you look at Josh Allen and you look at Jalen Hurts. I mean, Allen might be taller. He's like 6'5", 6'6", like 230. But when you look at the way Hurts is built, someone got to squat like 600 pounds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's all ass and hips and legs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, that's what it is.
People say about me. They say the same thing about me.
Barrett, I don't
He's
care.
all ass and hips.
I
Look
don't
at that
care.
guy.
I don't care if he's built. Yeah, Rob, I ain't going there, bro. I'm leaving that one alone.
That's actually the opposite
I'm gonna leave that
description of
alone.
me. There's no ass. My mom used to say, you have no ass at all disease. That's what my mom
I've heard
used to
that
say.
in a long time.
Yes, no ass at all.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I don't care if he's built like Saquon Barkley. If he's playing my quarterback position, if he's a franchise quarterback,
Yep.
and,
Yeah,
and
they're gonna take some shots on him.
that's
You're
my
right.
point.
Yeah,
I've said this so many times. Defensive players hate quarterbacks because the game has been altered and the quarterbacks are pampered nowadays.
And you know they're gonna take a shot.
Look at how many quarterbacks have been hit out of bounds. I mean, borderline out of bounds.
Well, look how many times he got hit, late, and we were bitching about that. Remember we were talking about that earlier on.
That's my point.
Yeah,
it only takes one bad angle hit to mess up a shoulder, a knee, an ankle, anything.
You're right. But in fairness, the other thing is, like, you just need luck. Like this Allen injury, this one actually occurred in the pocket.
I get it.
There's also just flipping a coin and being lucky, man.
That's why I talked to Randall. Randall was the same way. Randall got hurt more when he was sitting in the pocket than he did escaping the pocket.
Yeah.
Look at how many games Michael Vick missed in his career because he was that running quarter. Now,
he
Michael
was
Vick was built like Jalen Hurts. Matter of fact, Michael Vick is thicker than Jalen Hurts.
Well, yeah, but not below. Not like his legs weren't as strong as.
No, they weren't.
Dude,
he wasn't squatting. No, he wasn't squatting 300 pounds.
But Vick is faster than Hurts.
Yeah,
now,
way
Vick,
faster.
Yeah.
See what I'm
I
saying?
agree with that.
But look at how many, as much of a magician as he was, escaping, buying time, and had, let's face it, had one of the strongest arms ever in the history of the game.
Yep.
He still took a lot of unnecessary hits.
He did. He would challenge linebackers in the open field
because he didn't know how to slide. First of all,
do it, man. Right, he never learned. They actually brought the Phillies in to try to teach him how to slide.
Yeah,
You guys
I remember that.
I remember that. Jimmy Rollins
that really happened. Like, people think you're making that up. It really happened.
Jimmy Rollins couldn't even teach him how to slide.
Larry Bowe was working with Michael Vick to slide.
See, that just comes with some guys just can't get right. Like Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby can only turn left, couldn't turn right. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not first, you're last.
And even when I see Jalen Hurts on those dives, those 1 yard dives, what do you see on the other side of the ball?
Trying to rip his head off.
You see a linebacker coming full bore.
Right over
there you go. Trying to land a shoulder into him to knock him back so they can get the momentum going back. And I'm thinking
very, very
that one time when that quarterback turns his head or his shoulder one way or the other and catches a helmet coming over the top full bore, I don't even want to think about that. Now, I understand. You're right, Barry. You don't want to take away any aspect of his athleticism that made him what he is. But there's also a price to pay at some point.
Sure.
When you do that. And
I will say Allen is way more reckless than Jalen Hurts.
He is.
Way
and
more.
You know what? For a dude that's 6'6", he's pretty fast too.
Oh, he's athletic.
He's got moves when he gets in open field.
He's very blessed.
You know who he reminds me of?
Yeah.
Who?
Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know about that.
I think he's more athletic.
I do too.
Luck could run too, though.
Luck was a great athlete.
Yeah,
great athlete.
I've seen Josh Allen do one of these.
Oh yeah,
and leave a defender grabbing air.
No doubt, no question. All right, let's get a timeout.
Right?
We come back. We'll talk to Brandon Lee Gowton about this as well.
I don't want to take a timeout. I'm enjoying our conversation. I don't want to.
Here's what you can do.
Why you always cut us off?
You can keep talking in your hotel room.
You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk to D-Gun. That's what I'm going to do.
I want you to do that. There's nothing new there. You and D-Gun conversing with one another is nothing new. All right, we'll get a quickie. Brandon Lee Gowton from Bleeding Green Nation will join us when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because you know how hard it is to find the right person to trust with your finances, your hard-earned work. I found the right person, and it's Jim, and it's Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, if you have a small business, and you need help with your employee benefits, that's another resource that Jim can help you with. I went through the wrong people for years, and trust me, when you found the right one, and Jim is the right one. He's there to answer any of your questions. You can bounce things off of him. If you're just not sure about the direction that you're going, he's always available to discuss it. I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k roller with Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. You will be as well. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can also reach Jim Murray at Principal Financial Group at Murray, MURRAY.Jim at principal.com. That's Murray.Jim at principal.com.
get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Since 1977 at Rafferty Subaru, we have always been about our customers and the community. Early on, a safe and durable option, we've evolved to become the best overall brand according to Kelley Blue Book. Over the last 14 years, we've donated thousands of dollars through the Subaru Share the Love event and found homes for hundreds of pets. The Rafferty family is proud of our 45 years in business. This month, celebrate our anniversary with special financing on select models. Visit us and see why.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Welcome back. Happy Friday, everybody. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis joining us now. Phenomenal job as the Eagles reporter, manager, and editor-in-chief of Bleeding Green. And you can check out his podcast as well at BGN lowercase radio. Brandon Lee Galton, the one and only. What's happening, Brandon? How you making out, man?
Doing good, guys. Hard to complain too much when you're covering a team that's 8-0.
Good segue.
Yeah, man.
We just had this discussion in the last segment, and I don't want to say like things are too good because you'll be smacked down real soon as you make some ridiculous statement like that. But we're in a weird place because there was such a Phillies high, and the Eagles are going to go 2 straight Sundays without playing. For an 8-0 team, it's weirdly sort of quiet, not fully quiet, but quieter than it should be. Would you agree?
I mean, it's strange, I think, to the city. Usually there's something to complain about. There's some big, item to worry about with the Eagles. And obviously you can poke holes at this team. Everyone wants to talk about the run defense, the absence of Jordan Davis, whatever. But on the whole, the positives greatly outweigh the negatives. So it's an unfamiliar territory.
So Brandon, let me ask you this: since we've had this extended time off, and I don't know if you heard us or not talking about this lull period we don't like. What have been your storylines this week to keep the Eagles' juices flowing?
That's a good question. I mean, again, I think it goes back to the biggest concern, if you will. Again, the run defense. I think that's one of the biggest things it's hard to figure out in terms of they're not a good tackling team. And you kind of have to question, how does that get better, really, especially during the course of a season? I think you could argue, maybe this is the downside of their lighter approaches and practices and everything. At the same time, you look at the upside to that. pretty healthy for the most part.
Yep.
So I think you kind of take that trade-off. But certainly, you're going to see with this team coming up as you're facing Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley and A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, all these running backs coming up, that's going to be tested, that poor tackling a little bit more.
Do you buy, Brandon, what Nick Sirianni said last week or earlier in the week, where he said basically, look, we teach, going for the strip, going for the turnover, and it's certainly worked for them. There's no denying that. They've done a great job with takeaways. He said, but it is fixable. This is not, one of these situations where it's going to be going on all year. We're working on it. We're trying to correct it. How much do you buy into the trying to get the turnover theory versus traditional wrap up and fundamental tackling?
Yeah, I think you can remember instances of that against the Steelers. Chase Claypool caught a pass, should have been tackled for 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7, and the defensive backs at that time were just trying to rip it, and he was able to kind of fight through during the meantime and power through it first. So that's where it can hurt you for sure. But there's other times where I think it's just poor effort or not good form. I think of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who clearly has been making a lot of impact plays, leads the NFL in interceptions. That big, I don't even want to call it big hit. He just kind of ran. He jumped at and collided with Dameon Pierce last week on Thursday night, but it didn't do anything. Didn't affect him. It just bounced right off of him. So I think there are instances too where guys clearly need to go lower and actually, tackle properly.
Can Gannon call a successful defense to stop the run with Davis not being in there, and when you input a guy like Hargraves at the nose? You think that could still work for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's his job, right? he better come up with an answer. I don't think he can be as simple as, well, you don't have Jordan Davis, so your run defense can't be good. And it's not like the Eagles' run defense was.
That's
amazing.
what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that. I mean, I obviously I don't want to undersell Jordan Davis's impact. I don't want to say losing him is irrelevant, but it's his job as a defensive coordinator to make some tweaks. Maybe it's more run blitzing. Maybe it's using Hargrave more at the nose. I mean, you have to do things. You can't just necessarily say, okay, Jordan Davis is out, so we're just going to put Marvin Wilson in there for him, and it's a 1-for-1 replacement. You might have to get a little bit more creative than that.
That's the thing right there, being creative. And they did, everybody thought they were blitzing to stop the pass. They were run blitzes to stop the run, which made them successful. Going up against Washington and Brian Robinson, I think he's an okay back, but I think we're kind of overselling his impact and what his impact will be on this game. I don't know if you watch film on him, but he's an okay back. He's not what I would say. He's not like Pierce from last week, and I want people to know that.
Yeah, and I mean, I would expect the Commanders to run the ball. Why wouldn't you, after seeing what the Texans could do with Dameon Pierce last week? And mind you, that was with an offense that was missing their top 2 receivers and a quarterback who clearly hasn't accomplished much in the NFL, and Davis Mills. So yeah, I mean, I expect them to be tested in that regard. If we're talking about level of concern here, it's not like, 10 being the highest. It's not like a 10. It's more like, like maybe like a 5. I don't think it's, end of the world, sky is falling by any means. But again, you're looking for holes to poke at an undefeated team. That's one of them.
Brandon, how impressed have you been with the Eagles' grounded mentality? Every time you talk to these players, they all say in unison, and obviously they talk about it a lot. Whoever the leaders are or whoever the coaches are feeding them, they have been consistent in terms of, we're not overlooking anybody. We know we haven't done anything. And I think that bodes well as they continue on this journey that could have a landmine or two somewhere along the way.
For sure. I think maybe it goes back to how expectations were so high before the season. And as we've talked about here before in the show, I believe, and Jason Kelsey, his comments about when the Eagles are expected to be good, they're bad, and vice versa. So maybe, there's some of that going into this year where, look, we have a special group here. It's not just about, we can make the playoffs, or, we can just make the NFC East, especially coming off a year where, they did some good things at the second half of last season, but ultimately it was kind of hollow because you get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah. So I think that left a bad taste in their mouth. And I think they know that a lot more was needed to kind of take that next step. And it's not just about getting there. It's about making a deep run, especially in a weak conference. So I definitely think the messaging has been on point there. And I think you have to give Nick Sirianni credit as well as the players.
I'm glad you said that, because we've talked about this with a number of people. Do you have genuine concern that because of the schedule they have, when they go up against the playoff team, they could be in trouble depending on who that team is?
Yeah, I mean, so from a standpoint of like, I don't think there are a ton of good teams in the NFL.
No.
I'm not too worried. I think it's like the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills are almost on their own tier, and then it's everyone else after that. But it's a 1-game sample size in the playoffs. Crazy things can happen. I absolutely do think that yes, like I am a little concerned, especially when it comes to the defense. I think you could say, I think the offense has done enough to where there's a lot of reason to believe in them. And I'm not saying the defense has been bad, but has the defense really been tested by a top tier quarterback? There are a ton of those right now, again, in the NFL, but that's the big question mark.
Brandon, let me throw some. We do a thing called buy sell, where you're buying the team, you're selling the team. I just want to throw a couple at you in the NFC.
Sure.
In the AFC, you deal with that when you get there. But are you buying the Vikings, who haven't lost since the Eagles beat them week 2? Are you buying the Seahawks? Are you buying the Giants? I'll just hit you with those 3 teams.
Okay. Yeah, I'm selling the Vikings. I think they rank something like 18th in DVOA. They're also down there in point differential. I don't think they're quite as good as that 7-1 record indicates. Yeah. And again, the Eagles blew them out. So it's hard for me to like be super. And I just think Kirk Cousins, he's gonna fade in a big moment. He's done it time and time again. So I'm selling the Vikings. The second team was the Seahawks, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, Seahawks. Yeah, I'm buying them. Geno Smith has played well enough this year for long enough that I think that's for real. Pete Carroll is a really good head coach. I think that much is apparent. And some of the blame for what wrong in Seattle in recent years might have not been in him as much as Russell Wilson, who's kind of struggling out there. Yeah. And Kenneth Walker's a fantastically talented running back. Like that's a talented team. There's some other rookies there. And then I'm selling the Giants when it comes to making noise in the playoffs. I would buy them long term. I think they're headed in the right direction, and I think they could potentially be scary next year if they have a really fantastic offseason. But I'm selling them at the moment as a team that the Eagles should be super scared of.
Nice. Interesting. Yeah, I'm with you. And do you view now I'll kind of follow up with this. Biggest threat to the Eagles, Cowboys, Niners. Am I missing anybody? And who would you rank as the biggest threat in the NFC?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be the Cowboys just from a standpoint too. They're in the division. The Eagles have to play them again still. And we saw them, hang in despite starting Cooper Rush back when they played in Philly. So I definitely think that's the biggest threat. After that, I know the 49ers are up there. I think I like the Seahawks maybe a little bit more than some others, and I think they could be a dangerous team, especially because I think they have this house money feel, like we weren't even supposed to be here this year, whereas the 49ers have been in the playoffs, been to the championship game 2 of the last 3 years, and I feel like there could be a moment in the playoffs for them where like, oh no, it's happening again. We're going to blow this again, whereas the Seahawks have that more of a fresh feel. But that's neck and neck there for me at 2 and 3.
Anybody lying in the weeds that you feel like might make a run here? Like I'm not buying the Rams. I'm not buying, agree. I hate, there's a part of you with Brady and Rodgers. You don't want to completely discount them, but right. I'm sorry. There's a lot of flaws and a lot of issues there, even beyond those guys. I think Brady's actually playing all right. He's just got no help. But is there anybody lying in the weeds for you?
Not really. If I have to say anyone, it would be probably the Bucks. Just because you can't entirely discount Tom Brady. I'm more willing to discount the Packers right now, certainly, than the Bucks there, especially just because of, they play in the South, and someone has to win that division, and they're in a good spot to do it and get that 4 seed. So, and we've seen, the Eagles didn't necessarily match up with the Bucks well last year. I like the Eagles' chances more this time around for sure, but I think that defense could certainly still cause some problems. Maybe Brady's able to do enough. They would be the other team.
When you look at everything, these guys, they've taken the whole scope. I want to get a little more fine-tuned scope. How concerned are you on how Mailata's playing?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting answer, I think, from Nick Sirianni, kind of deflecting the blame from him and talking about, why those 2 sacks happened against the Texans. I think some of that, I think there could be some truth to that, but I also think, you saw Jordan Mailata beating himself up about those plays too. I think he said he could have taken better sets there. So, I think more than one thing can be true. And I think when we zoom out from that game specifically and we look at Jordan Mailata's season on a whole, obviously he suffered a shoulder injury against the Jags in week 4. So maybe that's still impacting him. I don't think he's been bad, but I also don't think he's maybe taken that leap that we might have thought to, like, kind of Pro Bowl, All Pro, even kind of like that kind of player. I don't think we've seen that quite yet. I'm not really concerned about him. I think I would expect him maybe to even have a better second half than he did in the first half, but it's certainly something to monitor there. Like, is this guy, just like a solid starting left tackle, or is he actually one of the very best players at his position in the NFL?
Yeah, and that's, we expected him to make that sort of leap into the elite category. Just
Absolutely.
haven't seen it thus far. I know one of the things that you have written about and you guys have talked about, Brandon, is as the executive of the year at the midway point. I mean, it's funny. There are guys who would be slam dunk locks here, like John Schneider, like Joe Douglas, et cetera. Brandon Beane, maybe we should get some love here. But Howie, I don't know how he isn't number one, and there's got to be a lot of stuff that goes wrong for him not to be number one with the way this team's played.
Yeah, I mean, Howie's done a fantastic job. There's the whole thing, obviously, with the fans and in Houston last week with the sign.
He's feeling himself a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting because I think, Howie's absolutely entitled to, talk crap because he's done a great job. At the same time, things kind of went sideways there after the Super Bowl run, and he kind of had to clean up his own mess. And to his credit, he's done a good job of doing that. I think, the talent on this team, we said it in the offseason, it's carried over into the regular season. He's pressed all the right buttons once again. He's found what looks like a franchise quarterback, hired a head coach who could be coach of the year. Like, they're 8-0. He deserves a lot of credit for this. I would say specifically with the defense, when it kind of comes to, assigning out credit there. I feel like I might credit Howie more than Jonathan Gannon because I think they've just added so much talent on that side of the ball that unit's improvement might have to do more about that than it necessarily does totally anything scheme related. So, yeah, I mean, I think Howie should be the executive of the year, and that would be twice in the past 5 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Brandon, when you look at the overall structure of this offense and how they like to spread the wealth, this is an offense that potentially could have 3 1,000-yard receivers, which is crazy in itself. But I want to ask you this. I'm going to flip the script a little bit. Of the 3, which one would be the least likely to achieve 1,000 yards?
Yeah.
Based on the way the offense flows.
I mean, it has to be Devontae, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just.
I was going to say, yep.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because I don't think anyone should feel like discouraged about his outlook.
Exactly. Right.
It's nothing. It's not like he's not getting open. He's absolutely getting open. You can see it when you watch, the game over or even live. Like, Devontae is a great player, and I think, the lack of his production really since week 3 when the Eagles last played the Commanders, he had that, career game. I don't think it really has much to do with him as much as it has to do with Dallas Goedert is here, and he's a great target, and A.J. Brown is here. And then obviously, Goedert, Devontae, and A.J. Brown are the big 3. But, sometimes Zach Pascal's going to get mixed in. Sometimes Kenneth Gainwell's going to get mixed in. So you have other options still. I do think they can probably do a better job of targeting Devontae than they have been. Should get him a little bit more involved than they have in recent weeks. But it's hard to complain too much when the team is winning. And I think Devontae would tell you that. I think, a lot of players in this position would be a little frustrated. They're, there's high caliber, top 10 pick in the NFL draft. But I think Devontae has the right mindset. He comes from a school where, he knows that there's a bigger goal than just posting the stats, and it's about winning. And I think he gets that.
Well, go ahead, Barrett.
I'm sorry. When you look at the way the offense is run now, as compared to what you saw in week 1, week 2, you can see a definite trend on a lot more drop back, a little less RPOs when it comes to the passing games. Do you credit that to them trying to keep Jalen safe, or do you credit that for the evolution of the offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's multiple factors there. For example, you'd only 2 rushing attempts against the Steelers. I think that number was a little bit it wasn't totally accurate because I think Hurts tried to take off running a couple times there and kind of got tackled for no loss. But I think to his credit, I think Jalen Hurts is trying to rely on his legs less if he doesn't have to, and obviously having a lot of success with his arm. I think the great thing about this Eagles offense is that they can win in so many different ways. I also think the coaching staff, Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen as the play caller, deserve a lot of credit for some of these tweaks we've seen after the bye. Right before the bye, there was a lot of short passing game, not really taking shots down the field. We saw that change now coming out of the bye here. So I definitely think they're just firing on all cylinders, really, when it comes to coaching staff, quarterback, and then the playmakers here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about Steichen. I mean, there's obviously talent there, Brandon, and with the offensive line, with the playmakers, and how he's done a nice job just sort of setting that offense up for success. But this guy took over last year when they started to win, and I know it was sort of by this standard unconventional because they ran it a ton. They're not running it a ton. I mean, they're a balanced offense, and he can seem to do it any way you need to do it. How good has he been?
Yeah, it's really impressive. One of the things that's really stood out to me is just some of the tweaks they've made coming out of the bye where, they'll show a look where, okay, it's a quarterback sneak, right? Nope, it's a toss to Miles Sanders. We get a first down. Oh, it's a quarterback sneak again, right? No, it's Jalen Hurts actually running off tackle to the left like he did against the Texans. Like they're doing little creative things like that where they're tweaking, and I think that's great. It's not just about totally reinventing the wheel as it is taking what they have and kind of running different looks out of that, things they've done already. So I definitely think they've been creative in that regard. And yeah, Steichen deserves a lot of credit. I'm sure he's going to get a good amount of head coaching buzz. He might be a lock to be gone. Both of the Eagles coordinators, certainly might be gone after this season in terms of Steichen and Jonathan Gannon.
When you look at the rematch coming up with Washington, go back to the first game. Obviously, Carson Wentz helped the Eagles pad their defensive sacks total for the season. Now you have Taylor Heineke in there, and you look at Washington overall, their last 5 games have all been decided by single digits. Do you expect this one to be a much closer affair, especially because it's on a Monday night divisional game being played down in D.C.?
Yeah, the way I talk about Taylor Heineke is I think he – more so than Carson Wentz, who, with him going into week 3, I'm saying he's going to fumble at some point. That's what he does throughout his career. He has so many fumbles and almost like a fumble per start. Not quite, but almost that way. You're almost waiting for the bad thing to happen with Carson Wentz, especially from a Commanders fan perspective at this point. With Taylor Heineke, I feel like you enter the game with a puncher's chance of winning. You're not the favorite, but you feel like maybe he can just do enough to kind of edge it out. So I definitely think they've been a more competitive team. I think there's something to that. Same time, you look at the teams they've played. I think some of these wins by the Commanders have say a little bit more about the teams they played, such as the Colts, who are clearly not in a good way, the Packers, who are not in good shape. So I definitely think that's part of it too. I do expect the Commanders to score more than basically 0 points, which is what they had before garbage time in the last game. But I still think this is a comfortable Eagles win. And I'm actually going to take the Eagles to cover the spread. I think it's about 10.5. I think they can cover that.
Wow, that's me just saying that. Them being favored like this going into games.
It's the way it's been.
Yeah. So you think does it trouble you in any way that they're going to be favored probably for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, except for the Cowboys game in Dallas. I think that's the one. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, not really, because they haven't really given me reason to be majorly concerned.
I keep telling people that. If you're gonna win,
we are clearly looking for things, aren't we? I mean, I've never seen it before where we're bending over backwards, man, trying to find things at times with this team. We're twisting ourselves into pretzels. I mean, I get the run defense, that's real.
Sure.
And special teams isn't great. I'm not arguing that. I mean, that could bite you, and that's got to get fixed. But some of the other stuff I hear, it's like, my God, nitpicky, just let's get the excavator out and dig in to find something here with this team.
If they bore me all the way to the Super Bowl,
I'm
be
with
it.
You.
So be it.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I want that kind of boredom. That's for sure. How different do you think the Cowboys game will look than the previous one? Obviously, Dak being back, but they could have Odell Beckham. There could be a lot of different things going on. You think they're
How about that though, man? How about that Odell Beckham, man?
It feels like a Cowboys kind of move.
Well, he was clear. He was clear today.
Yeah.
So
it's got Jerry written all over it.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, they've been pretty transparent about that. I'm not really concerned. I mean, I think, the Eagles, what were they up 20-0 in that game?
Yeah, it was a non-competitive game for long stretches there.
Yeah, and they let them back in. I get that. But ultimately, when they needed to get the drive to close out the game, they did. I think the Eagles have been a better team than the Cowboys this year. That's not really to disrespect Dallas. I think they've also been good, but I don't think they've been quite on the Eagles level. So, yeah.
I'll disrespect them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I mean, Eagles deserve, look, the way I put things is does this team deserve the benefit of the doubt? The Eagles absolutely do.
I'll ask you just an NFL question, Brandon. Josh Allen didn't practice again today. Yeah, this could really flip things in a big way, just for the entirety of the league, not just the AFC. If this thing is more serious, how big is that impact of that potential injury here?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I mean, I think Allen's fantastic. We all saw what he did in the playoffs last year. It wasn't like they lost because of him. Right. So, yeah, that's a big one. Case Keenum is a solid backup if he has to miss a game or two here, and certainly can keep them afloat and keep them alive for that number 1 seed there in the AFC. But I mean, if this is a lingering thing throughout the rest of the year, then yeah, I mean, because that Bills roster is still very good, still going to be a good team, but they're hardly going to be like this juggernaut, unbeatable team that like people have kind of tried to make them out to be. A lot of people having them, number 1 in the power rankings before this week when they lost to the Jets.
Staying on the broad scope of the NFL picture, this to me has been like bizarro world the whole season. You look at the Rams, the Packers, Tampa Bay, Denver, Raiders. Everybody expected them to be up there down. A team like Seattle, nobody thought would be much of anything. They're one of the talks of the league now. How surprised are you that this whole league has been topsy-turvy this season?
That's the NFL. That's what makes it so good. It's just the
parity, baby.
The parity, the unpredictability. You go into a season, you feel like basically for the most part, if you're a fan of any team, you can talk yourselves into maybe this could be our year. Maybe we can be better than everyone expects. So yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it to me.
You can follow him on Twitter at Brandon Gouton, of course, Eagles reporter, manager, and editor-in-chief, Bleeding Green as well. Brandon, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple minutes.
Appreciate it, bro.
We'll talk to you soon, man. Keep up the good work. All right, that is Brandon Lee Gouton. Interesting thoughts there. He likes the Eagles. See, that's a big spread for me, even though I think the Eagles win the game this week. I don't like the double-digit points and laying the double-digit points, and that line is now, last I checked, it was 11. It's 11. I would probably grab the 11 if I were betting it. I'm not betting the Eagles game, but if I were, I would grab the 11. Barry, you think they're going to roll them?
Ooh, I think they are going to roll. I don't think it's going to be a very competitive game. I really thought that what made the difference between the last game we played and this game is their ability to block those guys up front. They were able to block Payne and Allen pretty good. It wasn't until towards the end of the game that you saw Allen started doing a little bit. He started playing a little harder. Mm-hmm. But they really, in so many words, punked that defensive line without Chase being there. They really punked that offensive line. That defensive line. We already know what they did to the offensive line, but they really put it on that defensive line, did what they wanted to do with them, had their way with them. So all things being equal, this team has gotten better. They hadn't gotten worse. They're on an upward trend. I see this other team, I see the Commanders on an upward trend, but I think we just haven't stopped doing the little things that make a successful team win. I think those little things are still being taken care of. So I think we roll over them too.
How much do you...
I think it depends on how focused Washington is.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
With the latest allegations that have come out, and a lot of players, we heard Brian Mitchell say a lot of players are ticked off that the Commanders used the Brian Robinson situation as part of their front in a rebuttal, and players are not happy about that. So how, it could go one or two ways. They could say, we're going to play to the best of our ability in spite of this circus management group, or you know what? Why should we buy in when they're basically using us as a shield?
How many times have you seen that happen though? That's the only thing. I haven't seen a lot of teams do that. I haven't seen a lot of teams be able to, dig their way out of a management problem. They've dug their ways out of situational problems with players that have done some stupid stuff, but never with management. Management is supposed to be, all right, this is what you hang your hat on, because I played for great management. I played for, Mr. Lurie, he brought the gold standard. I played for, with the Rooneys, who were the gold standard. Also, the teams that, having the Steeler emblem on your helmet, it means something to them, and they will let you go no matter how good of a player you are, how much of a superstar you are. They will let you go. They've let many of players go that are dynamic players. I mean, two receivers, San Antonio Holmes and Plexico Burress. They let both of them walk because they don't play not having you represent them in the right way. They let one of the best running backs in the league go. What's his name?
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. They let Le'Veon Bell walk. And he was one of the premier backs in the league, but they let him walk because you can't not represent them in the wrong way. You know, you represent them the wrong way, they're going to let you go. They don't care how big you are. Their brand is bigger, and they're not going to let you do that. So I've seen the gold standard. I've also played for an organization that didn't really care to want to be that type of team. You know, when I was in Detroit, even though Mr. Ford owned the company, man, he'd come downstairs and be smoking cigarettes at halftime, blowing smoke on our face. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, you know, I play for different type of organizations, you know, and the cream of the crop has definitely been the Eagles. You know, even they were, you know, I got there when they first started, when Mr. Lillard first started, you know, building the team to playing with the Steelers, you know, a team that's all they care about is their brand.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, I just don't know how they can come back to that. That's why it was hard for me to answer that question that you asked earlier, Rob.
Yeah.
How the players are going to react? I haven't been in a situation where they reacted in a good way when things like this happen.
I think the line is crossed because you drug Brian Robinson's name into your nonsense. Like I almost feel like the players you can go into that bubble and that cocoon where it's just like, all right, that's their problem, you know, in the ivory tower up here.
Yes.
We're going to concentrate on football. Then all of a sudden you're like, damn, they got to bring Brian Robinson's name.
Right.
I mean, like that's where I think it starts to become a distraction, and you're like, who are we really playing for here?
Right.
Well, I think the red flag is also, we've already seen quotes from several key players, including Taylor Heineke, all saying, you know, it's a little frustrating. Now, that's all they're going to say on the surface, but what are they saying behind closed doors amongst each other?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Ron Rivera says, you know, we can't worry about this. We got a football game to play. Okay, that's the coach speaking. The players play the game, though. And where are their minds at this point?
A little frustrating means a lot frustrating.
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't want to say the wrong thing because I want to make sure that check cash every 2 weeks.
See?
You know,
Yep.
so but if I'm a player from a player's perspective, I'm ticked off because they used one of my teammates, one of my brothers in the trenches as a shield. But two bottom lines. Number one, I have an opportunity to play a game that millions can only dream of. Number two, I'm getting paid 7 figures. I'm gonna go out there and play my game no matter what. I'm playing for me and my teammates. I don't care what those knuckleheads upstairs are doing. I don't care who buys the team. I don't care who sells the team. All I'm doing is going to practice, putting on a uniform and playing the game, and I'm getting paid handsomely for it because I know this money could run out at any given moment.
Yeah.
I know last year it was a very selfish team. So I don't know how much they've changed from last year to this year. Because remember, Allen and Payne got in a fight on the sideline.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It's a real selfish type of team. Selfish, you know, in how they approach the game. I didn't see a real family type of atmosphere as I watch film on them. The way they play, I don't see the team camaraderie and everything. I don't see teams reacting to each other like this Eagles team does. So, I mean, walk like a duck, quack like a duck. Maybe there's a duck. This may be a selfish team. If they're a selfish team, then I can't see them doing very well after all this commotion going on. You can get by that when you're a tight knit group, a tight knit team, and I don't know if Rivera can get them at that point now.
Losing has a way of eating at you. You know, it's hard to have a tight knit team when your entire NFL existence has been based on losing. I don't care if you've been there 3 years or 8 years. Your entire NFL existence has been losing more games than you've won.
Yeah.
You know, and winning creates a lot of bonds that don't exist when you're losing. And I think that fight that broke out was a frustration. If I remember the game correctly, it was about assignments being missed. You know, one called the other one out because, hey, you're supposed to be here. Hey, you don't call me out. Are you doing your job as well? And it escalated to that point. And you know what? Losing breeds that stuff, you know? Yeah. If you're winning, even if you don't like somebody, hey, man, you know, everything's Camelot here. We're just happy to be here right now because you're winning. You're the talk of the league. Everybody wants to interview you. You know, you're getting the primetime games. But when you're losing, you're nothing more than an afterthought. That's what that organization's been.
Rob, you can tell me we're winning, you know what I'm saying, because we get D-Gun.
What do you mean?
You know, let's things start going sideways.
You get Gunner. You get Gunner. No. You get Gunner when they win.
Derek appears when they lose, or what happened? D-Gun?
No. D-Gun appears when things are getting tense. That's when D-Gun appears.
D-Gun appears.
That's what I told you guys, man. I told you, man, I'm in a different place until further notice, man. No matter how much you guys look at me side-eyed, it's not going to affect me. You can't get to me.
Oh, and on that note.
Namaste. On that note, all right, Barrett's going to give us the key matchups, the key breakdowns, what the Eagles can attack, what we have to watch out for when we come back in this game against Washington on Monday night. So we'll keep that rolling. A little later, we'll do the NFL. We'll go to the best games of the week. You are a problem. You really are.
Just have a cup and a smile.
NFC Power or NFL Power Rankings. We'll do that as well. At 2:30, we'll have Dan Coop from Sport Trade. He'll give us some picks for this weekend. Got all kinds of stuff in store for you. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Friday. Pro Action Restoration. If you're not familiar with the name, get familiar with it, because I want to tell you about Pro Action Restoration. If you have a home, you have a business, you have a property, and you've gone through the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage, whatever the case may be, can be really trying, right? And scary at times. Pro Action is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. So whether this happens at night, in the morning, on a Saturday, on a Tuesday, they are there, and they are there quickly to clean up whatever mess has occurred. I've gone through it. I've lived it, and they were amazing. They cleaned up the problem. The crew was professional, and the price was very reasonable. And Pro Action Restoration also is licensed, bonded, and fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. They will work in conjunction with your insurance company as well. It could be any of the above: water, fire, smoke, mold damage. You name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says, yes, you can. Jeff says, yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says, yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say, no, you can't, Jeff says, yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Go passionately, go fearlessly, go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Up and go Birds.
At Salus University, our graduates are among the most highly trained in their profession because of our unique emphasis on research, interprofessional collaboration, and early clinical exposure. Learn more about our programs at salus.edu.
everybody. Welcome back in. Happy Friday, one and all. Hope you are doing well out there on this Veterans Day. And again, thank you to all who have served and are serving presently as well to allow us to do what we do. So you go back, guys, to the last time that the Eagles in Washington played. In some respects, a long time ago. It was week 3. Eagles won 24-8. The big difference here is Carson Wentz was still playing at the time. Did not play particularly well. The Eagles sacked him 9 times in that game. Some of that was just they did a great job beating Washington's offensive line, but we also know with Carson, he will hold the ball too long as well. So Washington had won 3 in a row, and then they lost last week. And a pretty winnable game, actually. They were up on the Vikings and really kind of coughed it up in part because Taylor Heineke had a couple bad picks. But nonetheless, they go into this game as a team that's under 500. They are 4-5. So, Barrett, the question I have for you is, what are some of the keys to this game for the Eagles?
I really believe this team has to win their individual matchups. More so individual matchups than team conceptually matchups. Of course, you got, the wide receiver position where you had Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuels. Those guys, our DBs had to cover them. Yeah, we got that. But talking about individual matchups like Jordan Mailata versus Chase Young if he plays, and even still Montez Sweat if he goes to that side. 2 guys that have the best get off I've seen in a long time when they're playing. You know what I'm saying? Especially Sweat. Sweat gets off the ball so fast, and that's the only guy that I really have a sample size for right now when I was watching film. He gets off the ball quick and fast. And they have James Smith-Williams also. He's all right. He's not somebody that I'm overly concerned about, but I am concerned about, Montez Sweat versus Jordan Mailata right now, simply because he hasn't played up to the expectation or played at a high level. And you got to play at a high level when playing against Sweat. Sweat gets off so fast. We're talking about a guy that ran a 4.3 or 4.4 40 at the combine when he played. I know he's like, he got drafted back in 2019, but still, he's still just as quick as ever. He's really come into his own as far as being a pass rusher on the outside. I think Chase Young is going to play. And if he does play, he's got to put his big boy pants on, so he has to make sure that he comes out ready to play. The snap count issues can't be a problem. He's got to get off on the snap count, kind of like Lane does. You got to retool, rethink, whatever you got to do to make that happen again, you got to do it because you got to be more aggressive at the point of attack. You got to be more aggressive. His get off used to be getting off like Lane got off and like, Jason Peters used to get off. Mm-hmm. You've got to get off quick so you gives you enough time to set up and wait for him to get to you. Get out there, bam. And then once it is, that's when the fight starts. When you initiate contact because you're waiting for him to come, now you can put it on him. You can't allow him to get to your side because once he gets even with you, he's leaving. Once the defensive end gets to the side of you, he's gone. He's going to turn the edge. He's going to turn the door, and he's going to go right by you. He's got to get out faster and play strong with his inside hand and not let defensive ends get to his outside hand so easily. And that's the problem. That's probably why his shoulder hurts so much. He's been letting people use him as a turnstile. What I mean? Going around like this. See that? That's bad football right there. You hurt your elbow doing that way. You know what I mean? Can't be that turnstile, man. But that's the problem. So to me, that's a key matchup to me. Another matchup that, we haven't really talked about in a long time because T.J. Edwards has played at a high level. But we saw Pierce run so much on us. He had like almost 150. He had 150 yards. Like a
big game. Yep, big game.
When I equate a running back running like that, I got to give it to the middle linebacker. I need T.J. Edwards. He's got to be that spearhead that he's been the past couple weeks before that. He's got to go make a play, get those big guys up in front to protect them, and then he's got to go get them. I saw too many times when he was behind the play and getting blocked at a play and couldn't get off on the tackle. So him versus Brian Robinson Jr. is a key matchup for me. Another key matchup I'm talking about is Logan Thomas on C.J. Garner-Johnson.
Tight end, yep.
We're talking really good. He's a really good pass-catching tight end. He hasn't done really anything this season. But we don't want this game to be the game that he comes out and has his coming out party. Mm-hmm. We don't want him to be an impact player. And we know how tight ends can really mess you up. Seeing, you know, how Dallas Goedert messes up a lot of teams. He has the same skill set. He has that speed, awareness of where he needs to be because he's a former quarterback.
Yeah.
So he knows where he needs to sit down. He knows where he needs to stop and make himself available for the quarterback, especially on blitzing downs. So I think we're going to blitz him a little bit more than usual because on run downs, I think they're going to try to make sure TJ Edwards is a part of that blitzing package on run downs, meaning first and second down. So, you know, that's just what I'm saying. Those are my key matchups in the game that I'm going to be looking for on Monday.
How about you, Gunnar?
Well, let me ask you this, Barrett, because it's been talked about and brought to the coaching staff's attention. Do you expect to see a much better tackling effort? Now, you're talking about two pretty good-sized backs in Robinson and Antonio Gibson.
Good ones too.
And even if Washington's offensive line is suspect, we said the same thing about Houston's offensive line, and lo and behold, look what happened. You know, Pierce had 139 yards running on that defense. Do you expect to see a better concerted effort to wrap up and tackle? Or and for the last few weeks, I'm seeing too many guys trying to lay shoulders into the upper shoulder pads of bigger backs, and the would-be tacklers are just bouncing off people. You expect them to go down and try to bring it and wrap them down, or it is what it is?
No, we've all seen it before. This team overcorrects. I mean, overcorrects like no other being. Just like everybody's talking about Smitty. And Devontae Smith, you know, hasn't been getting the ball a lot. Well, you saw what he did the first time they said that versus the Vikings, and then the next week you see the type of game Smitty had.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's gonna be the same thing. They overcorrect so much that tackling from the first week of tackling to the second week against Minnesota, they overcorrected. They made sure that they tackled well from that point on, and a lot of it had to do with placement as far as, you know, being in your gaps, understanding where your run fits are, knowing where you're supposed to be at. And when you get there, go for the tackle. It's not all about creating a turnover. Get the tackle. Get the guy on the ground first.
Yeah.
Too many times they got converted first downs because they weren't tackling the guy. Instead of taking care of business at the point of attack, they were trying to strip the ball. You got to get on them first. The first guy's got to tackle him. Then the second guy's got to come and try to get the ball out. It's not about them going up and trying to knock a guy down. No, you got to tackle. Secure the tackle first, then let the rest of your troops come in and try to strip the ball. And they did that the second game against Minnesota. They were like one and done. As soon as they was catching, boom, stop right there. No yak yardage. They've got to go out that same type of intensity, that same type of you know, piss and vinegar that they did that second game, man. They got to really make it an emphasis to stop as soon as they get the ball, tackle them right there.
I will tell you, the guy they targeted, the Eagles offense targeted the last game was Kendall Fuller. His numbers against. So the Eagles got 9 catches, 152 yards, and a touchdown on 11 targets. They're going after him again. Make no mistake.
No question.
No question.
So, you know, there's going to be some guys that get tested in that secondary. They've shook things up a little bit, has Washington. But still, I mean, I think this is another game where you can hurt them in the air. I think it's where they're gonna go after them. It may not be a huge running game again.
I can see Jalen dropping a few dimes over the top of the shoulder of Fuller right into the arms of AJ, streaking down the sideline again. Houston couldn't stop that.
Or Devontae, who had a monster game against them. Yeah,
Houston couldn't stop it. See no reason why, as we sit here right now, to believe Washington can stop that. I really don't, unless Washington's front seven can get better pressure on Jalen, make him throw the ball sooner than he wants to. That's the only way I see that changing.
Well, Derek, that's a part of the problem that this team was having.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That they've got to do something, man. They've got to do something. I mean, too many times that we've allowed that to happen, man. We can't let that happen, bro. We can't let that happen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think a couple things that when you look at this Eagles team, like for me, I think this debate of, you know, whether they should lose a game or whatever, I think ultimately it's just going to be moot because I think they're going to lose. But I think the most likely for me, the losses, I'm looking at week 14 at the Giants, week 16 at Dallas. They could lose 2 out of 3 games. It's not out of the question.
That's true.
They're the 2 I'm looking at, and there could be something before that. And it's not necessarily the worst thing. I don't think it's the end of the world that's what it's going to be. I know people will go overboard with it. You know, you could still potentially end up being 14-3, you know, or 15-2, which is ridiculously good. And that still gets you home field advantage too.
Right. And if that's the case, I can see them giving away the last game of the season because they're resting players.
Possibly.
I can see that happening as well.
See, I don't like that, man. And I'm glad.
Yeah, but it happened. But Barrett, we see it every year in the NFL.
I know,
how many teams pull players?
My experience is that every time I've done that, we lost. We did at the first year we played against my first year with Ben. Ben rattled off 13 games in a row. Went into the playoffs. We went in there and we rested starters. Even though we won the game, we rested starters.
Right.
And then our starters came back in and played horribly.
Yep.
We went into the next year, the Super Bowl year, and we didn't rest anybody. Everybody played. Everybody that started. And we won the Super Bowl. But it was a little difference in the aspect that we didn't have home field advantage. We played on the road. We had 3 games on the road. So it was like a sense of urgency, especially when you're on the road. It's a sense of urgency when you go and you're going into a hostile environment. If you're playing at home, we all know the hostile environment is here. Nobody wants to come play us here in any sport here. Mm-hmm. This is we got the best fans in the world as far as being ready to give you everything you want. So it's imperative that if this team gets home field advantage, I can see us making a road trip to Arizona if we get home field advantage. But as far as us losing or resting people, I know they are just from knowing this coaching staff. We know this coaching staff. They don't like people to play in the preseason, let alone going into the playoffs and they gotta, they feel as though we gotta rest our guys. We gotta give them all the breaks they want. We gotta make sure they're healthy enough to go into the season. And not worrying about the lack of consistency that can come with that.
Well, I think what I would do, Barrett, if it's 1 or 2 games where you have everything locked up, I would get those guys a little bit of time because you're going to have a bye week the next week. You don't want them off for 3 weeks or 2 weeks from actual real game action. I'm at least playing them a half just to keep them sharp. I'm not messing around with that.
I don't see him playing a half.
Well,
to be honest,
Derek, that's a long time to sit.
I agree.
Versus, think about it, the team you're going to be playing is going to be like probably had to win, roll to get in.
I agree 100%, but that's not what we've seen over the past decade. It doesn't happen. The trend has been, if you're going to play them, just to let them work up a sweat, maybe a couple series, maybe a quarter. Then all of a sudden you start seeing all these second and third tier guys that have been waiting to play all season. We see it all the time, and I don't see the Eagles bucking that trend. I agree with you 100%. You got to keep them sharp mentally and physically. I agree, but that's not what we've seen across the board.
It's not. You know Sirianni just like I know Sirianni.
Yes, man.
We got to give our guys a rest. I mean, the mere fact that they played not this last Thursday, but the Thursday before last. Was this last Thursday? Or Thursday before last?
A week ago. Yes.
A week ago. Yeah. So they played back. They didn't practice until Wednesday.
Yes.
What kind of mess is that?
Yeah. See.
Never seen that before. Never in my life I've seen that.
I know, but their counter would be, Barrett, and again, some of this is luck. We all know that. They're probably the least injured team in football.
Absolutely. And you know what? During that time where I was doing it, we weren't very good. The team, we were just okay going into the halfway point of the season. Mm-hmm. The Steelers, we going from a bye week. He would tell us, we played on Sunday. He'd tell us, all right, if we had a bye week, we'll see you next Monday. No, it wouldn't be next Monday. We see him on Friday, Thursday or Friday. We'll probably have a walk through or a jog through on Thursday or Friday, and then he'll give us off until like Tuesday. And then we'll go in, implement everything, and then practice hard on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as usual. We never had that time. We never had enough time that we could go somewhere.
Right.
Like these cats are going on islands and leaving out of the country. How is that even possible?
On ATVs
to leave out
and
of
all
the
this
country?
stuff.
Stay off
you
the
have
ATVs.
time to. How do you go outside of the country? You could have never gone outside of the country. It'd take you that long just to leave. It'd take you a day to leave, and then to get back is another day and a half.
Well, unless you go to the Bahamas, that's a quick trip, but still,
right? Exactly. I never wanted to risk anything, and guys I played with didn't want to risk anything like that.
Right.
Because you leave. I remember Joey Porter. Joey Porter went to Denver, got shot in the ass.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I remember that. That's a good point.
Got shot in the ass. You know, so I mean,
hey, Rob's
I hate
like,
I've been shot in the ass a couple of times. It had nothing to do with a gun. Just maybe too many cocktails, too many beverages.
Rob, not
overserved.
Rob, not to deviate too much, but I got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
From what you thought this show might be compared to what it's been from April 18th to now, how different has it been for you?
Better.
Okay.
Better than I thought it was.
That's such a great politically correct answer.
It's true.
Huh?
It's true. I love that we're not just, we do X and O, but we don't just X and O. That's what I love about it.
I tell you, I equate it to 3 class clowns having fun, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremiah Butler's got a great question. Do you guys think they're reserving Dean for health/depth purposes, or is he just not that good yet?
I'm gonna tell you this. Give me my viewpoint, or you going?
No, you go first.
I think he just can't beat out the guy in front of him. There's no question this kid is good, but TJ Edwards is playing. You know, he's playing damn good. You know, and why fix it if it's not broke? You know, why would you take a guy like TJ Edwards out when you have, or even Kazir White, when those guys are playing they're playing at such a high level, not maybe Pro Bowl. I don't know if you would say Pro Bowl level, not TJ Edwards position, because there's a lot of guys like that kid Brooks up in Seattle. He's playing to that level, which is a Pro Bowl level, but he's playing. You know, TJ Edwards is playing right up there with him. He's one of the most consistent guys I've seen play the LP position in a long time. In fact, he's the best I've seen there over the last 10, 15 years at the middle linebacker position.
Yeah,
you know
I think they're it's not every rookie is ready to step in. And the good thing is you have players in front. Years past, with the awful linebackers the Eagles have had, he would have been playing right away.
He would have been playing right now. And not to say he wouldn't play even higher level. It's just he's not good enough right now to beat out the guys in front of him, especially not Kazir White. You know, Kazir White is playing. You don't hear his name a lot, but sometimes you don't hear a guy's name a lot because they don't try him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never heard Dion's name
right
when it comes to pass defenses and things like that, because it just never threw to his side. And when he did, he made him pay for it. Kazir's kind of the same thing. Kazir White is balling. You know what I'm saying? His coverage has been immaculate. He's consistent all the time. Usually when you hear guys' names is when they're messing up.
Well, I think too that goes into, it's a good problem to have again. Everyone falls in this category, but they have a bunch of guys who are free agents. They're getting some really hard decisions to make. Kazir White's one of them.
Well,
Kazir White, Miles Sanders,
right? CJ Gardner-Johnson.
CJ Gardner-Johnson is another one. Is TJ Edwards in the last year of his deal?
Yes. TJ Edwards.
Yep. So, this is going to be. And you're going to have to pay the
James
quarterback
Bradbury
probably in the offseason, which means you're really
up against it.
Going to have to make some people go bye-bye, unfortunately. You better hope the Kobe Dean can play, because one of these guys probably isn't back.
Well, I mean, you still got Fletcher Cox and Hargrave also.
True.
So, I mean, who at this point, who do you see them signing and keeping here? You got to keep one of those two guys.
It's usually
Fletcher or Hargrave.
It's usually now when they re-up a guy. Around this time in season where they re-up a guy so it doesn't get to that point. So I would expect a couple things to be coming down the road. You're going to see, here's what you're going to see. So-and-so's contract restructured and he's getting bonus money and it's coming off the years or whatever. You know how they always do that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I think that's where it's going to start. That'll be the first thing. That'll be the tell. And then 2 days later, Eagles re-up, whoever. I mean, just watch for it. They're usually, that's the breadcrumbs that you see once they restructure somebody, because it's happening for a reason, that something's coming.
Right. So that's another good question. He's saying it's not even a question, statement. I would rotate Dean just to give him some time behind the stick.
Yes, I've said you had 2 games. You could have given him some. So that's a big question mark to me.
Yes,
because you put in the subs at other positions. Why can't he get on the field and get some reps? Except special teams. What is going on here,
bro? You know what's bad?
Maybe he's not ready.
Right. I'm looking at, this is what you guys do. Look at him after the game and look at his jersey. And this will be a telltale sign in this jersey, this game, because they're playing on natural grass. I've seen him come up off the field and this jersey is just as clean and white as ever. That means he's getting no burn,
Yeah.
And when he is getting burned on special team, he ain't doing nothing. I say an awful clean jersey.
But think about how hard that you, Barrett, you know, I know you know, you lived it, but how hard it's got to be for a guy who's every level dominated and been on the field constantly, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, I'm not used to standing here. This is weird, man.
Bro,
and Rob,
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Rob, I agree with you. Maybe he's not ready, but what you do, and especially games that are over, get him out there, let him make his mistakes. You sit down with him in a film session like you always do each and every week, and you go over, okay, these are the little things that we notice that you're not doing right. That's how you get him better.
No, you're right. You're right. And he's already active because he's playing special teams.
Yes,
it's not like
every week.
He's not. Yeah, right. That's
hey, Barrett, Barrett, I want to hear your answer to this. I mean, I hate to deviate, but I have to because I'm trying to find a person who asked the question. Somebody said, "Hey, what does "da" mean?"
There it is.
What?
There it is.
Plain and simple. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
What was the genesis of it? Where'd it come from?
No, it just came out of the blue. It was in the chat. Oh,
no,
you know,
saying,
yes,
how did Barrett come up with it?
Yeah, how'd you come up with that?
And it came from me. I'm sitting back and I was on, and I heard abracadabra one time, and I just heard it in my head. And then somebody asked me a question, and I said, "Well, there it is, da." So I mean, it came from abracadabra to da. I don't know how I correlated the two. You know.
So if you had to sit
CT Big Birds.
So if you had to sit across from a prospective employer, and you're in an interview session, and the employer says, "Well, Barrett, I can see that you're qualified," or "Barrett, I can see that, man, you're not what we're looking for." Your line would be da. And I'm sitting there as somebody about to hire you, going, "I ain't hiring this nut."
No, he's gonna say da. He can be, and what it's gonna do is gonna capture him for a second. He goes da.
Yeah, what did he just say?
Right.
Da.
And then he'll remember it because then he gonna turn around and say, "Oh, he's gonna say, sir, that just means there it is."
Did he say la-di-da or ah-da-da? What did he just say? What?
Hey, did you guys see this? Just to veer off of the Eagles for 1 second last night. So the game was terrible, right? And we all, and anybody who watched any second of it acknowledges that.
I did, and I watched every single second too.
I did.
But I give props to Jake Matthews. So his wife gives birth like hours before the game in Atlanta. He catches a flight, hustles, makes it there just before the game started. He started the game and played the game, and it was his 137th consecutive start. It's the longest active streak in the NFL. Props, man. That's
unbelievable.
They had him in the hallway. Literally, he's running. He's in shorts. He wasn't even in his uniform. He run, blah blah blah. Gets in there like I'm telling you, got dressed and was on the field and played like with no warm up, barely any warm up at all.
And they still lost.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that's dedication, man. You covered both areas. You were there with your wife for the birth, and you got to go do your job at the same time.
Yeah.
Bro, that's got to be unbelievable because I ain't gonna lie.
I wouldn't have been there.
My daughter China, I was in camp, and she was born the day before the game we played against Tampa Bay. Needless to say, I didn't see my baby being born. And she brings it up like at least once or twice a month.
Oh, you may okay.
And she's 20 years old. Telling me, "Dad, you didn't even come see me born."
Oh man, that's rough.
She always saying it too. She said all the time, dog.
Remind her about the roof over her head.
I do.
Yeah.
Then I hit her. I say, "Look, you don't pay any bills here. You live here rent free. What are you talking about?" Well, Dad, and I told her, there it is.
You could have been a little bit more comforting. You could have said something like,
"I was comforting. I was
dear,
comforting the first 16 years of her life. I spent a whole 16 years saying, 'My fault, babe,' but I was trying to feed the family."
All right, hold on. I need to say whoever has the pen, put it down.
Yeah, who is that?
That's me.
Put it down.
What is you this pen?
Back away from the pen.
Yes, this has been going on for the last 45 minutes.
We've all done it, so it's a natural habit where you're going like this.
Yes.
When you're on the air. It can be a little grainy.
See what I mean? He's having flashbacks again. I'm telling you, he needs to be checked.
I'm telling you.
This dude needs to be checked out.
No, I've done it too. we all have birds. Yes, we all do it. All right, we're going to get a timeout. We'll do a little hybrid Sixers, little Flyers, little Phillies. We'll keep the NFL talk going. So at 2:00, we will dig into the Week 10 schedule, what's coming up, the best games, NFL power rankings, top 5, and then Dan Koob coming up at 2:30. 30. So don't go anywhere. We got you covered. He's Barrett. He's Derek. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I want to tell you about Flynn Tree Services. Yes, Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So if you're not really sure, you can reach out to them and they'll let you know what they can do. They service southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, northern Delaware, and they specialize in full tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. So keep in mind, this time of year, nasty. We've got really nasty weather here in the Philadelphia area today with some rain. It's a great time to have your trees evaluated. You don't want to have an emergency where you're knocking some wires down, they're going into your house, someone's getting hurt, God forbid, any of that stuff. Get your trees evaluated. You go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Philadelphia fans, were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says, yes, you can. Jeff says, yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says, yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say, no, you can't, Jeff says, yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
My wife was in an accident that changed our lives forever. She was in rehabilitation for years. She had to learn to walk again. She couldn't take care of herself. We couldn't afford a nurse. We were running out of options. One conversation with Pondley Hockey changed everything. They understood what we were going through and immediately helped us navigate the legal process. We can't thank them enough.
Pondley Hockey. Tell us your story.
The faces you know, the team you trust. The Delaware Valley's leading news program, Action News.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
All right, we are back. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday, one and all. What's the matter, Derek?
Nothing.
Oh, you were making one of those faces.
No, during the commercial break, I could see both of you guys. I was looking down, looked up, like, are we back on? It caught me off guard for a minute.
Got nervous for a minute. Hey, but I wanted to pass this along before we dive into everything else. So Gallagher, the comedian, passed away today.
No,
at the age of 76. Do you remember him smashing
yeah,
watermelons
and all that stuff?
Yeah, man. He was huge in the 80s, that guy. But
think about his stick was smashing stuff, man. Why can't I come up with something like that? I wouldn't be sitting here today. I'd have been set.
It was brilliant, right? It really was. You know, it just working a little comedy around just people in the front row getting crushed by vegetables and fruit. That you're. I'd
have been mad as a hornet's nest, man. Somebody I'm wearing expensive clothing, and all of a sudden I got fruit juice all of them. Because a lot of stuff, fruits. Sometimes you can't get them out of clothing.
Stains. Yeah. No, they would purposely sit in the front. They wanted to get hit with it.
Right. They paid money, big money to do that.
What's wrong with people, man?
I'm telling you, man.
What is wrong with people?
But he had a run, that guy. He had the
man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Sledge-O-Matic, and he did pretty well. So anyway.
I never got it though.
I
never got it. I didn't think it was something I really thought was funny.
Like Carrot Top was another one. It used all the props.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Have you seen him, by the way?
Lately?
Bro, he looks at his face is like leather.
Yeah, and he's like jacked. He looks like he does nothing but lift. He's huge.
I bet you wouldn't tell him his face looks like leather to his face the way he's built now.
I think Barrett would.
I whip his ass. What are you talking
about? I don't know, man. I take Carrot Top.
Barrett would put him down in 2 seconds.
I don't know, man.
He'd be carrot juice by the time Barrett got done with it.
I'll take Carrot Top 2-1 odds over Barrett when it came down to it, man.
Let me look this guy up, man. Let me look. Current Carrot Top.
Oh, you know who else was like that later in his life? Sean Penn.
He got big. He got jacked. Yeah.
What?
He got jacked. Yep.
Bro, this dude look like a clown now.
Carrot Top?
Yeah, he looked like a real clown. Like, what is wrong with him? He's wearing makeup too.
He does wear makeup. There's no question about that.
What is that all about? He looks like
he's wearing makeup.
Oh, he
wearing makeup.
I would beat him to sleep, bro.
He like does his eyebrows or something. Like something's going on. I don't know what it is. Something's happening there.
And I wouldn't hit him in the face because his face is like leather. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it would just take it all.
He is jacked though.
Oh, he is jacked.
Yeah.
Barrett, you gotta be careful of those crazy ones, man, because you know what? He might like be the Tasmanian devil on you, man. You throw a punch, he's behind you, popping you in the back of the head.
I hear, Mom, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm like, oh, there we go. Hey,
you give him your best shot. All 6'5", 320 pounds in one shot behind Barrett Brooks. Boom, catch him dead flush in the jaw, and he just shakes it off and looks at you. All right, let's go. What do you do then? I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I was just playing. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, that's not happening with Carrot Top.
No,
it's gonna be one shot and goodbye for Carrot Top, especially if Barrett hit him. That's for sure.
Man.
All right, so you got a request here, guys.
What's that?
JB, Philly bred and born and raised, grew up fishing all over the place. Trout. I live in Miami Beach. Past 20 years, won the Miami Dolphins fishing tournament. I want to fish with you guys.
Without a doubt.
Well, let's see. First of all, I have to ask, what are we fishing for?
It does not matter.
Yeah, it does, because if we're going like 40, 50 miles offshore, I ain't doing that. Ain't gonna happen. He's talking about going marlin fishing. Well, we gotta go to the Spanish, the Spanish what is it? With the drop off. What is that called? What's that area called? Can't think of it. But
no.
I can't help you on that one.
I think they go out. They may go out like 200 miles or something. You know what I'm saying? They go way out. I don't do that.
Well, we had Trey Burton on, and he was talking about he just won that tournament down in Florida, right?
That's true.
And they were out he said they were out like 50 to 100 miles. I'm like, you know what? God bless you. I'm with you in spirit. You ain't get me out there, man.
Bro,
some rogue wave comes up.
I'm telling you, just like on Sunday, you need to come out with a Sunday.
Who?
You.
I can't do it on Sunday. I have commitments on Sundays.
Okay.
I do. I can't get there.
Okay. All right.
Well, how far are you going out? And wait, first of all, how far on the water are you driving to your destination?
Bro, we're not even a mile out. We leave out when we come out the end of where the boat is docked. As soon as we get out past the boat, past the channel, we get into the channel.
Right.
We drop lines and we fishing. Like we might even make it. We don't even make it out usually to the bay. We don't even get that far out. And you see the birds come. You start looking at the depth finder. See the fish on there. You don't go out far at all. We may start fishing 20 minutes after we get out.
Well, first of all, I would have to check with Captain Tuna to get the exact distance, because you have a problem with distance. So I would check for him to get the accurate measurements in terms of how far we're out. anything outside of the 5 mile radius, got to bring me back in, bro. Can't do it. Not doing
Why,
it.
man?
I tell you, I've seen Jaws too many times. Can't do it.
I'm
Not
telling
doing
you,
it.
Captain Tony would take better care of you than he would with me.
Now that I believe. That I do believe.
I believe it.
What are you talking about, man?
You just said it. I confirmed it. That's all I did.
Don't be like that, bro. Don't be like that.
No, I can't. Look, you know me. I love to fish, but I have a limitation, man. I don't understand how you can go unless you're on a luxury liner to go fish. Go 50, 60 miles an hour offshore of a fishing boat. You got rogue waves popping up at any given moment, especially in Florida. Hey, man, where's that Bermuda Triangle anyway? You know, people, planes, boats, they disappear. They don't come back for 20, 30 years, man.
We doing it. It's not like that, man. Like, Rob, I'm gonna get Rob. Rob, you going out? Cap told he wants
Rob
you
is not going out. Rob is not going out.
If you can get him away from his job for once, it's one of many jobs. I'm telling you, he's the white Jamaican.
I'll do.
Him, Lindsay, him only have 4 jobs.
I will. We'll make it happen soon. Pretty soon, hopefully.
I do not see Rob grabbing a bait and putting a bait on the hook. I don't see it.
I might need an assistant.
See, there you go.
I might need some help.
Give him one of those big blood worms. Put on the hook.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
First time that worm hooks him on the finger, that's it.
Here's what we'll do. I'll go fishing, and you guys, the 3 of us, will play pickleball together, and we'll make it happen.
Pickleball.
I'll do that.
All right.
Do that.
Make it happen.
Can I just root for you?
No, you can't root. No, you got to.
Dude, I have no knees left, man. I can't. I'm not gonna pick pickleball.
You could be our coach. Barrett and I will play. All right. We'll play doubles, and it'll be me and Barrett against 2 other people. How's that? That work?
See, I'm afraid because my wife has told me many times if I get injured, she goes, "You go into assisted living." She goes, "But I can't lift you." And it's true. She can't lift me, man. I'm 220. I'm 225, dude. She can't lift me. So I'm trying to preserve my freedom of being able to move, but I will come out and watch. I want to see what this pickleball thing is.
It's fun.
I got to see this.
Yeah. All right. We'll do it. We will do that. So we haven't had a chance to talk any Phillies yet. So I wanted to just sneak in a little tiny bit, but this story first, it's a baseball story, which I found kind of interesting here. So the Astros beat the Phillies in the World Series in 6 games.
Yep.
They have let their GM walk. Guy's name is James Click. He will not be back to the Astros after he rejected the team's 1-year offer. Apparently, he wanted a raise. They wanted, multiple years, and they weren't willing to do it. And he's out.
I don't blame him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He just led this team. How long? Wait, first of all, how long has he been with the organization? How long has he been a GM of the organization?
So he took over after they had all the cheating scandal stuff.
So 2017
cleaned up a lot of mess. Click and Baker were high. He was only hired in 2020. So he was 3 years. He and Dusty came in at the same time. After all this stuff went down. Remember, they won it in 17, but a lot of this stuff didn't come to light till a couple of years later.
Right.
So he comes in, not only keeps it going, but elevates them, and they win a World Series. And he's only 44, young guy, did an amazing job, but he's out. I mean, he's going to be a hot commodity out there for some. Oh,
teams. Yes. They're going to be beating the doors down for him. Windows, they're going to be jumping.
Absolutely. Teams like the White Sox, the Cubs,
Yeah.
So this guy takes over in 2020, gets them to the ALCS 3 years in a row, 20, 21, 22. 3 years in a row, and he has a World Series ring.
Yep.
You're going to offer me a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
With a minimal rate? Hey, I'm out too.
Yeah, I don't blame him one bit.
I don't blame him.
And he views it the way we view it, like, okay, I'm going to have plenty of suitors out here, man. They're going to be after me. So I thought that was interesting. All right. So Philly's question for you guys. You're Dave Dombrowski. You've already gone over the luxury tax, although it wasn't nasty, but you went over it last year.
Right.
But I'm sure you more than made up for that with the playoff run, attendance, marketing, all the other stuff that goes along with it, the TV money and all that. Are you willing to go over again this time and get yourself into it a little bit deeper? And if so, how aggressive are you going to be?
At least 70. He said 70 million over that threshold is probably safe. They say he would be safe around that.
That's about his number. Okay, it's about his limit. Okay.
But can you bring in a quality player like that? And some quality arms.
Don't the Yankees do it all the time?
Yeah.
Yankees go over that luxury tax all the time.
Dodgers do.
Do it all the time.
Yep.
So why not the Phillies? The Yankees and the Dodgers are consistently in the playoffs with their model. Why not? Phillies got 2 games from winning World Series. Whatever it takes to get over that hump in 2023, that's what you do. And if you have to go that much farther over that luxury tax, so be it.
Yeah.
Well, they're not far. That's the thing. They're not far.
Yeah, you're so close, man. If you could be aggressive enough to grab a shortstop and another starter, oh my God.
Well, so you know what it is, though? I think he is going to do it, and it's because the culture the city is going through right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I can see even the Sixers right now making a move just because of, the nature of how things are going right now within the city. Excellence is starting to brew here in the city.
Right.
So you got to keep up. You got to keep up, and he sees what's going on with the Eagles. He sees what's going on. You know what I mean? And I bet he feels as though I started that by bringing in Castellanos and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I started it. I wanted greatness, so I went out and bought greatness. And the Eagles follow suit. All right, well, we went out and got a number 1 wide receiver for our quarterback. So this I could see him going out and sparing no expense, understanding that they are so close that why not take another shot at it?
Yep, I agree. There's enough of a blueprint in place, like a baseline in place where you don't need a ton to get over the top.
And it's not like 10 and 11 also. It's not like 10 and 11 where we started, reaching like, all right, we're just going to keep the band together. We're
with older guys, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's not that type of atmosphere.
Yeah, and there's so much of that foundation that is going to be coming back from this team that if you just tweak a couple tweaks here and there, man, it's going to be. And you have to, because you're in a nasty division with the Braves and the Mets. You're in a really hard league, period, with the Padres and the Dodgers and everybody else. I mean, it's Cardinals. It is going to be. You have got to get better. Status quo is not going to cut it. You can't be the same team you were last year. You got to be better.
No, wait. Then what is that? Dan said, Jeff Luvno. Who was that?
Jeff Lunau, Dan Cilio said that Jeff Lunau built the team. He did. He built it for sure. Yeah. But this guy came in and did a nice job sort of like
maintaining it
out of a mess of a situation. And then, there was a couple hard decisions they made, and had to let some guys walk, but they replaced them with quality players. So
younger players too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the shortstop's going to be nasty. It already is Pena. But yeah, that's interesting. Like for me, I told you guys, man, I mean, I think you need another arm, but I would go with I want a hitter in terms of a shortstop. Beyond that, the big question is going to be, do you trade Hoskins? And what happens then? Who plays first base?
What are you going to get for Hoskins other than a minor league prospect?
I wouldn't just give him away. It would have to be a starter who of maybe like a 4-ish. I know. Look, the Hoskins thing is so hard because he gives you production in terms of home runs and RBIs, but he strikes out a lot. His
glove is suspect.
Going down, and his glove's bad. Yeah, it's just tough.
Hence, that's why he'll be here next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world if he is.
Right.
I don't.
He'll be here next year, and there's nothing wrong with it. We until somebody steps up and play first base, why wouldn't you just keep him here? You can't just put anybody at first base, man. You can't.
As much as I want hitting, I want pitching first.
Yeah.
First and foremost, absolutely. Houston just showed you the blueprint. Absolutely. Dodgers, Atlanta, Mets. What got them to where they are? Pitching as much as hitting.
Yeah.
Houston just showed you can neutralize good dominant hitting with a stellar pitching staff.
They definitely did, man.
Outside of McCullers, there was no weak link in an entire Houston arsenal of pitchers. Dude, when you have a power hitting team that scores 3 runs and 9 hits in the last 3 games of the World Series, that's all you need to know right there. If I'm running a team that was on the short end of winning the World Series, what do I need to do to get to where Houston is? Pitching.
What blueprint would you follow? Would you follow the starting blueprint, or would you start at the bullpen blueprint?
I would say both.
I mean,
you have to have one of each. I want one of each. Okay, starter. If you're going to press me, Starter first. I want another starter.
I would go starter first.
Yeah.
You know, and the bullpen isn't going to cost you as much to add to.
Right.
The good news is, you know, you have Alvarado, you have Sir Anthony, potentially Brogdon, depending on Eflin if he walks or not. But you have some pieces for the back end. You got to fill in that sort of middle portion of that bullpen.
Yep.
And preferably a lefty too, because Brad Hand's gone. You need another lefty besides Alvarado. You need another one. So I think that's something else that they have to look at specifically, is getting a left-hander in middle relief or as a setup guy. You know, however you want to utilize that guy. These things are easier said than done, but this is also you wish there were more guys. Like they have Painter and Abel, who are two stud starters who are pretty close. But you wish there was more guys that were ready to come up, and you could maybe throw into that bullpen too that were coming up from the system.
You said setup guys. I mean, I think, you know, the closers. I think we're okay with closers.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah,
but, I mean, just a setup guy. You know, I mean, that's why Eflin leaving is really, really going to hurt us. You know, so he's going to be gone. You're right, man. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, he clearly thinks that he can get multiple years on an open market, because he turned down a pretty hefty salary this year, and starting pitching is so hard to come by. He's probably right. All right, so we'll come back and we will turn our sights to the NFL. We'll give you an update on Josh Allen and whether or not he's practicing today, and we will dig deep into the matchups in Week 10 as well as the NFL power rankings. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. All right, so let's talk Razor technology and identity management. All right, so with cyber threats that like ransomware on a seemingly endless uptick and the risk of a breach or a data loss higher than ever, the need to know just who's accessing your network systems and applications is mission critical. Identity management from Razor Technology is a holistic framework of policies and technologies that lock down access to the right users and only for the right reasons. They deploy cutting-edge solutions that identify, authenticate, and monitor access across your entire IT system. Razor Technology determines how users gain an identity in your system, what roles they need to fill, and enforces access controls and network protocols, as well as digital certificates, behavioral analysis, and secure authentication methods. Talk to Razor Technology today to learn how identity management can reduce the risk of a data breach while avoiding costly errors and downtime due to lack of access. Call Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Philadelphia fans, were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says, yes, you can. Jeff says, yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says, yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say, no, you can't, Jeff says, yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
My wife was in an accident that changed our lives forever. She was in rehabilitation for years. She had to learn to walk again. She couldn't take care of herself. We couldn't afford a nurse. We were running out of options. One conversation with Pondley Hockey changed everything. They understood what we were going through and immediately helped us navigate the legal process. We can't thank them enough.
Pond Lehocky. Tell us your story.
The faces you know, the team you trust. The Delaware Valley's leading news program, Action News.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome back in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday. Hope you have a great weekend plan. You made it through to Friday. That's a big accomplishment for sure. He's Barrett. I'm Rob. Derek will be back in a moment. He is assisting his wife, taking bags out of the room or whatever he's got going on. But he will be back with us shortly. You're back. You're muted, Barrett. You all right? You all right?
Yeah, I was telling the dog to be quiet.
So a couple things. The 49ers, I keep waiting for the 49ers to get healthy enough to get on this crazy run. And it seems like every single week something else happens with them. They lose Jason Verrett, Barrett, to a torn Achilles. It's a shame. He tore his other Achilles a couple of years back. But, quality defensive back for them. And he's done for the season. So they have not really been able to field the entire team, it feels like, all year.
Well, and that's kind of where the situation they're in right now with, even on the offensive side of the ball. Deebo Samuels, even Jennings is out also. So their fullback is out. So, I mean, they have a lot of guys that are hampered. They still got, both of the wards. Both of them can play, man. But, man, it's the war of attrition. Armstead has been out past couple of games. Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw, the outstanding linebacker, he's been out.
Yeah.
So at this point, they haven't been playing with a full deck the past, I was going to say 3-4 weeks. There's been something going on for the past 4 weeks with this team. You know what I'm saying? The war of attrition, they're losing. And that's why I just can't all the way be sold in them being a competitor for the Eagles. Yep. I think if they played the Eagles right now, they would win. I mean,
they meaning the Eagles.
The Eagles would win hands down. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be a really, really lopsided game. Also, I think it would be a lopsided game.
Really? You think the Eagles would take it to them?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Without Deebo Samuels and Jennings, I mean, who are their deep threats? Brandon Ayuk. I put one of my DBs on him, man to man.
Well, that's where you feel great about what the Eagles have at
exactly. So I just feel more confident in the Eagles right now from head to toe. They're a better team than this 49ers team. I don't know why people think that the 49ers are better than they are right now. Just so they got Christian McCaffrey, it makes them better? No, it doesn't. He'd be another casualty in the war. You know what I'm saying? He'd be a casualty.
Yeah, and
we played against him before, man. We played against when he was on a great team. We had average linebackers, and we stuck it to him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When he was with the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, there's no way that I think that they could beat us right now.
Who is it for you? It's the Cowboys. Who's the biggest threat?
Cowboys the only at this point in the NFC. The Cowboys are the only threat, and it's not because of what they have on their roster. Is more so it's just the NFC East, and I've seen crazy things happen in the NFC East.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, I've been on a team that we were nowhere near good enough to beat a Dallas team, and we beat them. And then I've seen the Dallas team beat us. That we were hands and head to toe a better squad than they were, and they beat us. You know what I'm saying? So it's not has nothing to do really with how good the team is. It's any given Sunday when you deal with playing in the division. Even with this Washington game coming forward, even though we're a lot better team, a more solid team, they just got so many things going on with them that's the only reason why I feel as comfortable as I feel with the Commanders. The Commandos just have so many outside distractions. They ain't gonna be able to get it right.
Yeah,
but
there's always a lot going on with them.
Exactly.
Man.
So that's why I feel so confident against the Commanders. But I won't feel this confident against the Giants, and I won't feel this confident against the Cowboys.
Yeah, and if you look at the schedule, so just so you know, again, the Eagles are going to get New York twice coming up here. So what they have after Washington, they play a Sunday at 1:00 at Indy against the Colts. So we know what's going on with them. Green Bay here, and that's a Sunday night game. Then you get Tennessee here. Again, these are all the times right now, barring flexes. 1:00. This is where it starts, Barrett. So you go to New York on the 11th. That has a distinct feeling of that could be a real challenge kind of game.
Definitely. I heard you say earlier that might be the game where they if they're going to
lose, the first stumble. Yep.
Yeah, that could be. And we've known the Giants, they beat us last year. There's no way they should have beat us last year.
Yep.
We were by far the better team. We were on a roll. They were what was his name? McGlendon started against us.
Oh, right. Glennon.
The 6'8" Glennon.
He looks like a giraffe.
Yeah, trash quarterback, and they beat us with him. I'm like, come on, are you kidding
Mike
me?
Glennon. Yeah.
And it was horrible because Jalen had his worst game. He threw a pick, going into halftime. It was a blatant out and out, just bad showing against a team they should have crushed last year.
Right.
They shouldn't even have been in the game. Everything happened wrong in that game, and they beat us, man. So it's hard for me when you go into the conference play and say, all right, this is just a done deal.
Because, I'm with you.
You just never know. We have been the better player. We've had the better players against the Giants, and we still split with them last year. I mean, we went in the year we went we only won 4 games. And the first game we come out and the Commandos whooped our tail. This when what's his name? Carson was still there.
Right.
They whooped they handed it to us. They beat us like we stole something. Going into this, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long year. Long year. And it ended up being a long year. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think too, Giants are a lot better than we thought they were. Even if you're right about everything you just said about the division, there's no question about that. But Giants are better than we thought they were going to be.
Yes, absolutely.
It's there. It's at their place, which is not easy by any stretch. And then the Cowboys game, that's where you're at the Giants, at the Bears, and at Dallas. The Bears have become, they're not good, but they're more of a challenge now. They figured out a little bit more how to utilize Justin Fields and what he does best. So it's not the layup that it would have been earlier in the year if you rolled in there. And then to get Dallas on the third of a back-to-back, that's hard, man. That's going to be really hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a game that I'm thoroughly confident we're gonna go in, beat them up pretty bad, and move on from this Washington team just because they're just so far gone with all the politics and inner turmoil that's going on with their team.
And they're not that good also.
Yeah, they're exactly. And we used to say that, it should be the front 7. It's not even the front 7 anymore. It's just the front 4 are good. Or the front 3. And if
so it's Payne,
Chase
Allen,
Young
and Sweat, and we throw
Payne,
Young
Allen,
in
Sweat. And if Young comes in, it'll be a 4.
Right.
But if Young is not there, it'll just be Sweat. It'll be Sweat, Payne, and Allen. Those 3 are good. They can mix it up. But I can't see at this point, going in like the Colts. The Colts team, they got their own thing going also. And they're not going to win one for the Gipper. They're not going to win one for Saturday. They already had their bad situations going on there. You know what I'm saying? They were.
Well, how do you see that playing out, Barrett? Like, are they? Like, are you of the notion that this guy should never get this gig and it's going to be a disaster, or how do you feel about that?
I love the dude. That's my boy, but I just can't see him going into this situation because, all right, they changed the coach. You can't just win a culture just overnight. He's only been in this culture. He's only trying to establish his culture on this team for the last 4 days. He's been a coach the last 4 days. You think there's going to be a major change in the cultures, major change in what they're doing? They don't know what the hell they're going to be doing. So, I mean, they're going to go out with a lot of intensity and enthusiasm playing for their coach, but it's still not going to be anything worth writing home about. And then the next week, you know, they'll come back to reality like, all right, now we're going to play against an undefeated team. And yes, I'm saying, the Eagles are going to win this week on Monday. They're going to go on against an undefeated team, and they're going to come back to your earth. They're going to, see the reality of the situation. They were a bad football team when they had the old head coach, and they're still going to be a bad football team when they have this new coach.
Okay.
So I'm not even looking at Jeff Saturday as, a former colleague as far as being a guy that's on there. I'm looking at him as a coach, and he will be a coach that's undefined right now. They don't know if he's a good coach or a bad coach, but they're not going to get it together in 2 weeks to compete at the level that the Eagles are competing at. There's not, no way. There's no way.
All right. Let me just run through some of the injuries here. So the big one, the headliner here is Josh Allen. He has missed his third straight practice today. So, clearly that's trending wrong. And if I'm them, I'm not even thinking about this. If this guy is in any way, shape, or form in pain, uncomfortable, limited, shut it down for a couple of weeks, man. You'll figure it out. You cannot risk that. There's the whole season hinges on that.
Absolutely. You can't even risk that, bro. I mean, why would you go into a situation where you got Super Bowl aspirations? This is something that could, be something that might be able to, stretch into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You want to just get this done right now. Make sure it's okay right now.
Yeah.
Don't
and let's face it, you're likely on a collision course in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. That's likely where this is headed. So, worry about getting this guy right before you even risk anything with them. So, all right, that's Josh Allen. The other ones, Kyler Murray is a game time decision as well for the Cardinals. They're taking on the Rams. It's a big game in the NFC West, which I get it. It feels like nobody wants to win that division, but it is. It's a big game for both of those teams. They both desperately need wins. And right now that's up in the air. Beyond that, TJ Watt said he'll play Sunday and anticipates being a full go. We know what a difference he makes with Pittsburgh. That's a total game changer for them.
That'll be.
Speaking of game changers, D-Gun.
Yo, what's up?
We get everything done? You good?
I'm good.
All right. Beautiful, man. We're just going through some injuries here.
Oh, okay.
We were at TJ Watt. He looks like he's going to play. He said he's full go.
Yep. Said he said it himself today. We'll see.
Yeah. He was pushing for the Eagles game, if you remember, a couple weeks ago.
He was.
He wanted to get back. So.
He was trying his best, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't have surgery on that is amazing in itself.
It is, but it worries me. But you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'd like to see great players be on the field. So we'll see what happens there. As we feared, Eric Stokes, the corner for the Packers, is done for the season. The nightmare continues with the Packers, so he's done.
They just can't get right, man.
I'm telling you, man. Rashad Gary's out for the year, ACL. Now Eric Stokes is out. That's 2 first-round draft picks that are out.
That is ridiculous, man. I mean, when they say it's falling apart, it's falling apart. It's going to hell in a handbag.
In the same game, you lose 2 key players for the season.
And just to watch the way A-Rod was just disinterested. I mean, he was pissed about the way he played. The way he played, not necessarily the guys around him, but the way he played.
Let me ask you guys this: will Green Bay lose their 6th in a row this Sunday?
Who they playing?
Dallas. In Green Bay.
Yeah.
I said that because based on Bear just said Aaron Rodgers ticked off about his performance. You don't see Aaron Rodgers throw the ball away through it last game.
Right.
The body gestures are getting worse and worse. You're catching him on camera cursing under his breath on the field, throwing his hands up, all these gestures now. Does this stoke Aaron Rodgers, or does it just continue? Does the demise continue?
It's festering.
That offensive line cannot handle what's coming with that Dallas pass rush.
Green Bay's a 4.5-point underdog at home.
That's all just 4.5?
Well, it's home. We haven't seen that in a long time either, to be honest.
Matter of fact,
I feel like Green Bay's going to show up this week.
They said that I was trying to find this. NFL Network said this morning, this is the worst underdog situation at Lambeau Field than Aaron Rodgers has been in since he's been the starter of the Packers. Think about how many years that's been.
Whoa.
That's
the biggest underdogs they've been with him as the starter at home. That's a great
starter.
Yeah, you're talking about what's he in his like 16th, 17th year?
Hey, it's been there since 08, something like that, yeah.
Damn.
But
that's
Badiari's he's back though.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, but he's not going to finish the game. He's been back every week. He leaves, he's back. He leaves, he's back. This dude, will you just get the leg taken care of? I mean, he had the surgery almost 2 years ago. He still can't come back.
Right.
He's an excellent player, but he has a hard time staying on the field.
Yes. You know, if I'm him, you know what, man? You should be like Blake Martinez. Just announce you retired. Just call it a career. Yes. Okay. Yes, Rob. I'm at that point. Yes,
I
Rob.
got you. Okay.
That's crazy because I can't believe Blake Martinez just called it a year halfway through the season. Just the halfway mark. Like, you know what? I can't
a lot
do
of
it.
money.
You know what? It's weird. He's a Pokemon card collector.
Yes.
You guys ever see this story?
Yes.
No,
and he found like a rare one from 1998 or something, and he sold it for like $670,000.
What?
Pokemon card?
Yes. The estimated value was almost $2 million.
Yeah, he's a collector, and he does pretty well with it. So,
hey, dude, 600-something on one card?
Yeah, nice.
I'm done. I'm out.
You pay taxes on that? I guess you do, right?
Yeah, it's a business. Yes, absolutely. I'm out.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. Light in here. What the heck is going on around?
I think it's the rain. Maybe it's got dark. It's dark outside around here, man.
Yeah, I'm sitting about 2 feet from a window, so it's weird.
Yeah, I'm right up against the window. And
we're not in the eye of that storm, but you know, it went farther inland than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
this tropical storm.
Yeah,
is it supposed to be gone tomorrow?
Yeah, yes. Tomorrow it clears out early in the morning, and then it's going to be nice and warm. Sunday's going to be really cold in our area.
From now until 6 p.m., it's like between 80 and 100% chance of rain today.
From now until 6 a.m.
Yeah, no, 6 p.m.
Oh, today. 6 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to rain into the night too, as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
who knows?
Man.
Who knows? It's going to be interesting here. So there's all the injury sort of updates, and there's no. I know somebody asked in the chat. There's no updates on Dan Snyder in the Washington situation. It just kind of is what it is, you know, right now.
Here's my update: sell the team.
Yeah. Well, they got firing yesterday, saying this is more malicious lies and slander and all this other stuff, which that always seems to be the response.
Sell the team, dude. There's a whole bunch of wealthy people sitting out there waiting to buy an NFL franchise.
I hear you.
Sell the team, dude.
I hear you. All right, let's go into the good matchups this week. It's okay. The card's not spectacular. It's okay. We have a Germany game tomorrow, not a London game.
Yes.
It will be the early start, but it's the Seahawks and the Bucks. We know how good Seattle's been, and the question is, can they keep it rolling? And, you know, in terms of the Bucks, you know, I guess you got to break because Atlanta lost. I guess you have to look at it that way. But it's been a really rough start for them. I feel like Bucks are 4-5 right now. I feel like they have a run in them.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing. Brady found a way to win that game last week. And again, they're depleted of personnel. He found a way. They're playing Seattle. I got a feeling, I'm with you, Rob. I think Tampa Bay gets on this run. I still think they're finished like if they're 10-7, 9-8.
Oh, I agree. It's not going to be a good record at the end of the day. It's not.
But I think they got this run in them. I do. I agree with you 100%.
What do you think, Back?
I'm thinking the same thing. I had to you know, pinch myself for a minute because I'm agreeing with these two. But yeah, yeah, you're right, man. Somehow Brady has changed, you know, the whole feeling in that locker room right now. They came back, they won a game.
Very emotional too on the sideline and after the game.
That was kind of crazy the way that happened like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, those two linebackers are going to get their defense pointed in the right direction, and then, you know, Brady's going to get the offense pointed in the right direction. So,
I think they might. I think they might win Sunday against Seattle.
See, Brady is like Jason, Freddy Krueger, All of them. You just when you think you buried him, he rises from the ashes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. You can't get rid of this dude, man.
Until they're officially eliminated for the playoffs, I'm
Yes.
never gonna. You're always kind of looking over your shoulder.
And I do not want to be in a team that has to play Tom Brady in a playoff situation.
Right.
I'm being
Well,
honest.
Mike Evans, is he all right though? Because they tattooed his ribs. Is he playing?
I haven't seen anything on him.
I haven't seen him on the injury report.
Me neither. But they have so many guys that are out, man. Cameron Brake's still out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other kid stepped up and made some plays for them. The backup tight end.
Yeah,
Otto. Yeah, he did a nice job.
Is Russell Gage back yet?
No, he did not make the trip to Germany.
See,
and Luke Gadecki is still out. Their left guard is still out. He's still out. Their left guard. Gage is out. On defense, all the frontline defense.
Except for Hit, Winfield. Winfield's still out.
Winfield
he's out.
Is he?
Yeah, he's out.
Let me see. Because they have on the depth chart, they still have him listed as starting. So maybe this depth chart has not been updated.
I think he's out.
Now this is as of November 10th. J.J. Russell, linebacker out. Gadecki out. Gage out. Mike Evans questionable. Nick Everett questionable.
Yeah, I mean that's yesterday. So
yeah, that's yesterday.
I guess he's back then.
Doesn't say anything about Winfield. So
okay.
All right.
I mean, that entire defense is back, ready to rock though.
Yeah.
So that's the early Sunday. Vikings and the Bills. This is clearly a game that is going to be impacted, and it's not looking good right now. Whether or not Josh Allen plays, it looks like he's not going to be playing.
He ain't playing, dude.
Which is a huge break, obviously, for the Seahawks or for the Vikings. But Buffalo's backup is Case Keenum, so that's who would be going.
Yep.
These Vikings just keep getting breaks. I don't get this.
They remember the double doink in London. They've had yeah,
unbelievable how many breaks they've been getting.
Yeah,
but nobody talks about them. Nobody talks about them playing backup quarterbacks. They only want to say about the Eagles. Oh, the Eagles been playing backup quarterbacks. They don't want to say anything about Minnesota getting the same type of run also.
It's true. You know why? Because the Eagles are undefeated. That's why. Minnesota has the one loss, but man, people on the outside looking in feel about Philadelphia. They're always looking for something negative about Philadelphia, man.
Yeah.
Who was it that coined the term Negadelphia? Who was it that coined that
term? Probably your co-host. It's probably your co-host.
Who?
Rob probably. Rob,
what did I coin?
No,
Negadelphia.
That was years ago. No. Was it G Cobb?
I think it was G Cobb.
Negadelphia or something.
I think it was G Cobb. Yeah, I think it was.
Wow.
That goes back a while. That term.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
10, 12 years. Yeah.
Broncos Titans. Now, desperation for Denver for sure.
But they're in Tennessee though.
Yeah, it's in Tennessee.
Wait, who's quarterbacking? Is Tannehill back yet?
No,
I don't think he's back. I don't think he's back yet.
Wow, Denver's. Let's see. Russell appears to be rising a little bit. Russell against that defense. That Tennessee defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
And all they have on offense is Derrick Henry and an offensive line. You got a quarterback whose last two games is averaging 10 passes a game. And he does not complete one pass to a receiver the last game and they win. I just don't get it.
That's wild, isn't it?
I don't get it. I just don't get it. But
it's in fairness, it's not like there's all these great receivers to be throwing to.
No, but still. You tell me one guy can't get open. Not one guy the whole game is open.
That's what I'm saying. You got Cody Hollister. Yeah. Chris Conley's all right. He played well when he was at with Kansas City. Well, he's playing with one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
Then no, he right. He doesn't have anybody to throw to, bro. It is Robert Woods and Chris Conley. That's it.
Ugh.
Cody Hollister. I don't even know. What is Nick Westbrook? Ikeen?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I hear you.
I have no idea.
Browns Dolphins. Browns have to get a win. Dolphins have won 3 in a row since Tua came back and have an extremely potent offense. Cleveland. I guess Cleveland's what a week or two away from Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
December 11th, I believe it is.
Oh, is it that late?
Is it the 11th when he's his first game?
Yeah,
he can play as the 11th.
3 games then.
But we've been applauding Miami, but I have to ask you guys.
This is week 10, man. This is week 10. This week is week 10.
It was an 11-game suspension, wasn't it?
It was 11-game suspension.
Yeah, so he should be back the last week of November.
Weeks, yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this. We've been applauding Miami's efforts forever.
Yeah.
Now they're on a 3-game winning streak. Their last 3 wins were against the Steelers, Lions, and the Bears. How good are they?
Well, that's where it's nonsense. Like everybody wants to praise Miami, and the Eagles get killed for everybody they play.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
How good are they?
You know what I think it is? I think it's because of how they struggled before Tua came back, and everybody just going crazy here. How good are they? It's a great question. I mean, I think that division's a lot different than what it was when New England was dominating. Maybe depending on the severity of the injury to Josh Allen. Maybe you're Miami. You could win this thing.
Yes.
I mean, because you have the Jets at 6-3. So here's the difficult games they have coming up. They got 2 winnable ones with Cleveland and Houston. That's their next 2. But then you go to San Francisco, you go to the Chargers, you go to Buffalo, Green Bay at home, go to New England, Jets at home. That's a really tough schedule.
That's a tough road. And I asked the question because they beat the Steelers by 6. They beat the Lions by 4. They beat the Bears by 3.
Very close games. You're right.
Okay. So are they that good? We're going to find out. Now, you're right, Rob. After the Browns game and Texans game, which I fully expect them to win both, we're going to find out how good this team really is with that schedule coming up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating to see where that one plays out. And I just want to see them defense. I mean, they got 59 points the last 2 weeks. Like, what's going on defensively?
Wow.
Cowboys, Packers. We talked about it.
No, let's not talk about it.
Mike McCarthy taking on his old squad. Can they just dust themselves off the Packers and kind of get their act together? I think this game's closer than maybe some people anticipate. And the Cowboys, although they are well rested, they're coming up a bye. Keep that in mind. And they had won 2 in a row previous. They beat Detroit and Chicago. But Cowboys are probably feeling pretty good about themselves with a little rest too.
I hope there's no way, shape, or form Green Bay wins that game.
Why not?
Because if Green Bay wins that game, then it's going to suck me right back in thinking they can make a run. And just when you're out, they pull you back in.
Yeah, they do.
And I'll make sure that Dallas beat them by at least 10 points.
Hey, all right, rest assured that's not going to happen, okay?
What's not going to happen? Oh,
that they're even going to compete with Dallas.
I think it'll be close. I do.
No.
So Barrett, if somehow, some way, Green Bay found a way to win that game, what are you going to say Monday when we get on the show? What are you going to say?
I got to eat my words. I got to say it. Hey.
But I'm with you though. I don't think there's if I was a betting man, what's the point spread you said, Rob? 4.5?
4.5. Yeah, the Packers are getting 4.5. Yeah.
All right, I would put everything I own on that 4.5. Everything I own. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
The house, the car, yes.
Dogs.
My 17 fishing rods, everything. The gear, everything I have.
Okay. Hey, let me give you. I shouldn't have glossed over this with the Titans game. They have major injuries. Jeffrey Simmons, Amani Hooker, Bud Dupree, Zach Cunningham, Josh Thompson, all ruled out.
What?
Are you kidding me?
That changes things.
Okay. Denver's got a real good shot.
Whoa.
That's massive firepower on that side of the ball.
Wow.
Oh,
I didn't know
that changes things a lot. Yeah, You're right. Yeah. I got to lean towards Denver. I think Denver's defense can stand up to Derrick Henry, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, as great as he is, if that's all you got, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Rob, look at the record. What's their record? 5-3?
Yes.
I mean, they're 5-3. They won a game without a quarterback completing passes to a receiver. I still can't get past this in the NFL. I just can't get past this. If you know this kid can't complete a pass, I'm putting 13 men in the box to stop Derrick Henry.
I am too. It beat me any other way. I'll live with it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. There's no way that the Titans beat Denver. No.
Okay.
I mean, even with like KJ Hamler's out, and that's basically as far as starters. I mean, Baron Browning, I think he's out. starting linebacker, outside linebacker / rush in. He can mix it up a little bit.
All right, well, here's what we'll do. We'll there's a couple more games we'll finish off, and then we'll do the NFL power rankings as well in a little bit. But let's get a timeout. We'll come back. Dan Koob's going to join us from Sport Trade. We'll talk to him about a lot of the stuff we're discussing right now. Point spreads, games coming up this weekend, etc. So we will discuss that with Dan when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Barrett, Derek, Rob, right back.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Since 1977 at Rafferty Subaru, we have always been about our customers and the community. Early on, a safe and durable option, we've evolved to become the best overall brand according to Kelley Blue Book. Over the last 14 years, we've donated thousands of dollars through the Subaru Share the Love event and found homes for hundreds of pets. The Rafferty family is proud of our 45 years in business. This month, celebrate our anniversary with special financing on select models. Visit us and see why.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Sports Take on this Friday. D Gunn, B Brooks, R Ellis hanging out with you. Joining us right now, and we each and every week we get a chance to talk to Dan Koob from Sport Trade. He can follow him on Twitter at Sport Trade Koob. Of course, Sport Trade app, as well as the host of Market Movers Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock. What's happening, Dan?
Dan, what's up, bro?
Gentlemen, what's going on?
All right.
Have you recovered for the Phillies last Saturday? Are you over it?
He's right on top. No,
I'm not.
You know what's great? What's great about the Eagles' schedule, the way it's fallen, is it allowed me to detox a little bit from all sports. I can't bring myself to watch the Sixers right now. So it's been nice to give myself a little break. I mean, who cares, right? Like, who cares?
You know, Dan, I thought you were the consummate Philadelphia sports fan, man.
You know,
really
Gunner, I am. However, and I'll pose this question to you guys, and we'll hop right into Sixers, I guess. But like, man, tough crowd. I mean, there's 68 games left or whatever. The team hasn't been past the second round in 5 years. It's kind of like whatever. We'll check back in April and see where we're at. I mean, I just can't get worked up, can't get excited about the start they're in.
We just feel like if they aren't able to make some strides this year, when is it ever going to happen? You know, it's not like this is Embiid's first or second year. It's not like Harden's young. It's not like Tobias Harris is young. we were debating whether or not Doc Rivers even survives this thing. Who knows at this point? But you just feel like, come on, man, start to show me something here. And I know Harden's out, so you have to, sort of put an asterisk around this right now. But it's not good. That's for sure.
I just look around the NBA. I look around the Eastern Conference. Does it feel like they've been lapped? I mean, the Cavaliers are super exciting and have a young, exciting backcourt. They got a ton of dudes who can get their own shot. I mean, obviously the Celtics are the Celtics. Giannis is Giannis, and I look at the Sixers and I'm like, okay, yeah, Maxi's getting better, but they're still sort of the same.
They have the same record as Brooklyn right now, for what it's worth.
Oh.
And they are atrocious right now. But I mean, we have nothing to look forward to as far as a young team getting better, because we're an old team that's staying stagnant right at the same level.
You can say the same thing about Miami. Miami was a good team, and they're 5-7.
They are.
They're
just as bad.
They're done.
It's just as bad. So
I mean, yeah, if you're trading the probability of Miami making it back to an Eastern Conference Finals, I mean, I would take the Sixers over that every time. But I just think Miami's cooked. I think that's a team of a lot of veterans who are done. But the Sixers, to me, I mean, Joel Embiid's obviously a top 5 guy, but is the proof in the pudding? Do we just have to sort of say, hey, you know what? He's unbelievable, but not in a playoff setting because of XYZ, spacing, outside shooting, the way the ball finds him, health, right? It's just, it's been tough. I'm really bringing positivity on the
Thanks,
show.
man.
Yeah, no, you just brought me down.
I feel really good about ourselves right now, man.
I was feeling up for about 2.5 hours.
All right, let's go to the team that's undefeated. Okay, it's a very easy segment. Okay,
you ought to be ashamed of yourself, man.
All right. One last complaint. Are you? Because we talked about this a lot. I want to get your take too.
They're good deal
This
for
will be
you.
2 straight Sundays they haven't played. What are we doing? I know it's a compliment that you're on.
Rob, really?
Yes, really. I'm annoyed at this. I want the Eagles to be playing on Sundays. That's all I'm saying.
The pumpkin patch is big right now. Pumpkin patch in
Negadelphia surfacing
is big. You just kind of find time to fill the void. You could be trading on Sport Trade. We just launched a promotion today where if you just deposit $100, you get a free futures contract for whatever amount it is, but we'll refund it the entire way.
That's pretty good.
So an opportunity maybe to throw it, not on the Sixers, but maybe on the Eagles, right?
Okay.
Eagles are only trading at $15 to win the Super Bowl right now. And if they do that, it settles at 100. But of course, you can trade in and out whenever you want. So there's an opportunity, considering the Birds are going to go undefeated. How's that for positivity?
There we go.
There we go. We're back. We're just turning all the grabbing the wheel and going all the way back.
Nice job. There you go. This is a huge number this week, Dan. 11. Yeah. I mean, and they're not strangers to this. They've had some really big spreads lately. Where is this thing trending? Where are the people at with this big number?
So the Eagles actually have the biggest number straight up just to win the game in our entire markets on Sport Trade. So right now they're trading at $82, meaning an 82% chance to beat I refuse to call them what they are. We'll just call them the football team.
The Commies.
It's ridiculous with that franchise. So just the C words, perhaps. $82 for the Birds to beat the C words, and $19 for Washington to win. That's the biggest number, the biggest spread difference between 2 teams in the entire markets. The numbers are huge, right? Eagles 10.5, Eagles 17.5. The other numbers, Eagles -3.5. If that's the one you're most comfortable with, you're going to have to lay 74.50 in order to get a full share, a full contract of that. So sentiment is really low on the Washington team because the Eagles have just been awesome, right? Like we've talked about it, I feel like every time I come on. Not only is the team incredibly deep, but the coaching staff, guys, has done a great job of staying ahead of the scouting report for the other teams, 2 or 3 weeks, adding those wrinkles and eliminating the things on the field that Jalen Hurts, frankly, doesn't do all that well. And they've been able to come in and week out and get the job done. I don't anticipate that's going to change. Taylor Heineke is like Carson Wentz light. He just makes a few less mistakes. But they just kill Washington a little less than the Wentz ones. So I don't really see a scenario in which, I mean, it's the NFL, anything can happen, but I mean, I anticipate the Eagles win this game. I think one of the things that I'm looking at is a total, which is an over at 44.5 points right now at $48 per contract, representing a 48% chance of it happening. I like 44.5. Now, the Eagles have not been a team other than the Steelers game this year where they come out and lay 35 on a squad, right? They kind of get up to 28 and just kind of sit on the ball.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
But second time they're seeing a team. First time this year they're going to see a team for the second time, right? So there should be some familiarity there. So I'm thinking this game maybe a little more competitive for longer than other games that we've seen. So I think the over has a good shot here. The other ones are 37.5 is another alternate strike there. The over 37.5 points and over 51.5 I don't think has much of a chance of happening. But I think 44.5 feels right. I mean, if the Panthers and the Falcons can get to 40, I feel like they can get to 44.5 Sunday.
Okay.
Interesting. Any other games jump out at you, Dan? Anything else that you're liking here on the NFL schedule from the early game Sunday in Germany? Anything else?
Well, one of the most interesting games from a trading perspective, guys, has just been the uncertainty around Josh Allen. The Bills opened up this week. Let's see, I have it here. I think it's $78, which was the second highest behind the Eagles. And then as soon as word started to spread, hey, Josh Allen may not be playing, that number came crashing down. So if you would have just done like you could do in the markets, right, the stock market, if you would have speculatively just bought in the Minnesota Vikings, it would have opened up at $26.50. At last check here, the Vikings are at 38. So you would have picked up almost $12.50 per contract per share. Right. And again, on Sport Trade, you could just sell that right back.
Unload it before the game, before you load it, where the odds would dip. Yeah.
Well, how about this then?
Yeah, go ahead, Barrett.
No, I was gonna say, how about now? Looking at Brady, and he won his last game, and you never want to bet against Brady. How is that looking right now?
Yeah, you never want to do it unless you're me, and I'm fading the Buccaneers all damn day. I actually love the Seahawks in this spot, Barrett. The Seahawks right now are underdog again for some reason. I think they're 5-3. They're trading at $44 per contract, meaning a 44% chance to win. But anything under 50 means you're an underdog, right?
Yep.
So the Buccaneers are at 57. The Seahawks are at 44. The only reason I can really objectively look at that and say, okay, why would the Bucs be favored? I mean, yeah, they beat the Rams, but the Rams kind of suck this year too. They talk about a Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah.
Two teams that really struggle. The only thing I can really think of is, well, the Seahawks had to fly a lot further, but should that really matter? In my opinion, it doesn't. And I'm just looking at the pricing now for the Seahawks. The Seahawks have actually won 4 times in the last 7 weeks being priced an underdog. So they're used to the situation. Geno Smith has been an absolute revelation. Ken Walker is awesome.
Stud.
So I think, and they've got Tyler Lockett and they still have DK Metcalf and the Bucs stout through the middle. But they have a lot of injuries in the secondary. So I think the Seahawks at 44 are a great buy this weekend.
Interesting. How about the Chargers 49ers game? The 49ers are -7. That feels like a hefty line. I know the 49ers are, everybody's waiting, me too, for them to sort of take off, but Chargers
I'm
good
not.
team. Yeah, Barrett's not buying the 49ers. Yeah.
So the thing about our markets on Sport Trade, Rob, the Niners may be at 7, but we actually don't move our number. So we have my Niners at 6.5. The only thing that moves is the price of which that's attached to. So, typically you would see like $52 is -110 or something like that. We actually have, because there's been line movement elsewhere, that line has really only been adjusted $2. So for Niners -6.5, it's at $54 per contract, meaning a 54% chance that it could happen. This Chargers team is vexing, right? And they've been that way since 2005.
Yep.
I don't quite understand. Do we need an exorcism? I mean, it's a new locker room too. They've moved to 3 different stadiums. That ownership needs an exorcism. No matter who they bring in there, they have so much talent. They can never seem to be healthy. They can never seem to be over a game over 500 ever. I don't get that team. I think, again, public sentiment, everyone loves the Niners to come out of maybe even the NFC. They're at $74 straight up to win that game out of 100. So I don't think anybody really believes in the Chargers.
All right, Dan. So I'm interested in this one to see how you size this one up.
Sure.
When you look at Arizona against the Rams, both quarterbacks right now listed as questionable going into this game. So how does the money line flow in a game like that? Because 50-50 chance one or both may not play.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about that because I actually wrote this one down. So when this one opened up, and make sure I am telling you exactly what the number was here, Gunner. So the Cardinals opened up at, let's see, 39.5. They're up to 45. And that's actually down because on Tuesday they were at 47. And what happened there was Sean McVay comes out and says, hey, Matt Stafford's in concussion protocol. So if you're looking like a line graph of where this number started to where it went to where it is now, it's just kind of going like this with all the injury news. And then like the Kyler Murray information comes out that he's struggling too. And then the video comes out of DeAndre Hopkins going, what are you looking at? Like, talk to me. And everyone blown up on the sideline. So this is sort of settling. I don't think we're going to see too much more movement. Right now, the Rams are trading at $56 per share to win, per contract to win. The Cardinals are at 45. Two teams that I just don't think anybody has a lot of confidence in. So I don't really see that moving too much. But I mean, I guess if you're saying, hey, Dan, pick this game, I guess I'm taking the Rams just by virtue of being at home.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not super confident in that pick. Presumably Jalen Ramsey gets Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
And they just sort of try to match up. James Conner has been, when he's healthy, he's been a disappointment. So I just don't know if either offense is really moving the ball a ton. I think maybe the under is the play there. Let me check on the pricing there. The under is absolutely the play in terms of the public eye. Under 43.5 is trading at 61.5, which means a 61.5% chance. So most people seem to be on the under 43.5 there.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else we need to know, Dan, before we roll that would be appealing that we would want to jump on that jumps out at you? Anything?
Well, everyone seems to love the 49ers. And I'll tell you, in our futures markets, where again, you buy a price for them and it settles whenever you kind of want. They don't have to win the Super Bowl in order for them to make you money on Sport Trade. The 49ers are still sitting at just $7 per share per contract to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And everyone keeps saying, hey, you know what? I love this Niners team. I love this Niners team. If they win the NFC West and then end up with a 3 seed or a 2 seed and then end up traveling to Philly for the NFC Championship, I mean, there's a scenario where that 7 goes to 21, 22, 23.
Right.
And then they don't even have to win. You can just get rid of it. What we talked about with the Phillies and everything like that. So that to me is an unbelievable buying opportunity. If you, for whatever reason, I'm not advocating for this. If you think the Cowboys are going to take over the NFC East, they're at $6. There's an opportunity
it's a good
there
price.
too.
Yeah.
So, and the Ravens, who play absolutely nobody for the next 5 weeks, are probably going to be 10-3 this time next month.
Good time to get on
$7.
Yeah.
So they are. I think the Ravens are your best opportunity on the board, but people love the Niners, so go hop on the Niners. They're available too.
Okay.
All right, Dan. Good info, man. We appreciate it. And again, check Dan out on Twitter at Sport Trade Coob, of course, the Sport Trade app as well, and Market Movers every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. And he does an excellent job explaining everything, breaking it all down, and just laying out what the trends are. Dan, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate it, bro.
Of course,
Take
guys.
care,
And
my
just
man.
one more reminder: $100. I will drive it to your house. Just deposit $100. We'll give away a free futures contract for you. So go make some money.
All right,
Go ahead.
love it.
All right,
Thank you,
bro.
Dan. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Have a good rest of your day. Appreciate that. Yeah. So good information there from Dan as always, guys. Always. Let's finish up the last 2 games. We kind of just did the Cards and the Rams and the Chargers and the Niners. I mean, they're both of those games are of interest for sure and critical in the standings. Barrett, so would you like the Chargers to win that game outright or what?
I'm just like,
He's
Derek
not buying the 49ers there.
No.
You stepped away during that.
I'm not buying the 49ers, but I can't see the Chargers winning that game either because
So you're listening to me. Oh.
I mean, you just pounded in my head that no matter, and I've heard twice today from somebody saying something about the Chargers that no matter what, or who the coaching staff is, or what players they have there, they just don't know how to win.
Nope.
And so I'm finally
been that
going
way
to
for
listen to
20-something years.
I'm finally going to listen to them. So I'm going to say the 49ers are going to win this game, but they're not going to beat the Eagles in any way at any point this year.
Okay. All right. Let's go with our power rankings here, guys, for the NFL. Now we'll do 5. We'll count our way up from 5 to 1. Who wants first crack?
I'll go first.
All right. Go ahead, Derek.
All right, number 5. Oh, it hurts me to say this. I'm putting the Vikings at number 5.
Ooh, they made it. All right.
All right, number 4, I'm torn between. I put Miami/Baltimore, and as I mentioned earlier in this show,
you said I couldn't slash.
No, but I'm going to take one off. I'm going to take one off because you're right. I said you could not
Cordell
slash.
Stewart,
So I'm not going to slash
it. Yeah.
No. So, I have to reiterate what I said. I look at Miami at number 4. They're on a 3-game winning streak against the Steelers, the Lions, and the Bears, and they struggle to win those games. I look at Baltimore. They beat feistier opponents. They beat the Browns, the Bucks, and the Saints. Now, Miami's already beaten Baltimore, but that was back in week number 2. I think Baltimore is coming on now. I really do. So I'm going to put Baltimore at number 4 instead of Miami for right now. Then go Dallas, KC, Eagles.
Okay. Dallas, KC, Eagles. All right.
And I left Buffalo off because of the uncertainty of Josh Allen.
I know. I have them on there, and it's with 5 asterisks. I went Ravens 5.
Okay.
Cowboys 4, which this is where this moves. If Allen's out for a significant period of time, that goes bye-bye. But I do have Buffalo at 3. I have the Chiefs at 2. I have the Eagles at 1. So I still put Buffalo at 3. I put the Ravens and the Cowboys. There was a couple teams. I thought about the Vikings for sure. I thought about the Dolphins for sure. But I still think those 2 teams, the Ravens and the Cowboys, are better than those 2 teams.
You guys are just getting sucked up with this Ravens rhetoric, man. Come on, man. In fact, I don't even have the Ravens on my top 5. In fact, I have them as number 7.
7?
Yes. Dolphins 6.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, but my 5 is Cowboys. Cowboys at 5.
You think the Vikings? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I want to see what your
Vikings 4.
Okay. You think the Vikings are better than the Cowboys?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh,
I do.
Ooh.
Then I'm going Bills.
I don't.
I do. Because the Cowboys are always going to turn into the Cowboys. And
I hope you're
so
right.
are the Vikings.
I hope you're right.
I think the Vikings are kind of what they are. I think they're a team that's built soundly, got a sound offensive line, sound defensive line. They got stars at the receiving position, a star at the running back position. So the offense will be able to score points. Defensively is the only thing. If they can generate pressure with their guys up front, the back end, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay.
Okay,
So,
I'm glad you said that. Let me ask you this. As we sit here right now, who generates better pressure up front defensively?
There's no question. I think that the Cowboys' defensive line might be the best. Not even say might. I think they are the best defensive line in the league.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Dak Prescott nor Kirk Cousins is known for winning big games. You look at their playoff records, but in a big game, if you had to pick one or the other, who are you taking?
Now you got me. You're not right for asking me that because we're talking about as we sit right now. You know, but you're right. I mean,
is there none of the above answer? Is that
right?
You got to take one or the other. Nope.
Because you look at Minnesota, you look at their quarterback. He never plays well in the big game. We're not talking about the big game, so. But I'm just going to say, all right, and then I would say Cowboys would be better than them then if it was a big game. But as we sit right now, Cowboys, Vikings, then I'm going to go Bills number 3.
Bills 3.
Okay.
Chiefs number 2.
Okay.
Birds number 1.
Okay.
All right. I like it. Let's get some birthdays and movies in here before we have to get out of here, guys. All right. So birthdays. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
48 years old. Pretty wild resume, man. Track record is pretty amazing. Quality movies. Demi Moore, 60 years old today.
Don't look like it.
Still looks amazing. Yes. Yep. Yes. Amazing. Stanley Tucci, the actor, and also he's like a travel guide. He does a lot of stuff like that. He goes over to Italy and whatnot. 62 years old. Callista Flockhart, who was Ally McBeal, married to Harrison Ford, is 58 years old. George Patton, the general, was born on this day in 1885. Speaking of Veterans Day.
Great get. There you go.
Yep. Kurt Vonnegut, the author, born on this day in 1922. Jonathan Winters, the comedian, born on this day in 1925.
Love that dude.
He was a funny dude.
Oh, my goodness. I love that dude, man.
Susan Kelechi Watson, who was in This Is Us. She was Randall's wife in that. Very good actress. She's 41 years old. That's all I got. Actors,
really?
and birthdays. What else do we have?
I'm gonna go football players.
All right.
One of my old teammates, Fast Willie Parker.
Okay.
41 today.
Yep.
Mark Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
He's 35.
Okay.
Victor Cruz. He's 35.
Yep.
No, they're both 36. 36.
Oh, there's 36. Okay.
Yeah.
My fault.
All right.
That's about it.
Okay. How about you, Gunnar? What do you have?
You have Laurel Crawford, who was in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Okay.
Allison, I don't even know who she is. Allison Duty, who was a James Bond girl. And she was in Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. Trey Smith, son of Will Smith.
Okay.
Stedman Bailey. Remember that story? Former third-round NFL player.
Yep.
And he got shot twice in the head, had to end his career.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, he got jacked up and he got shot in the head twice. As a matter of fact, he was a college teammate of Geno Smith.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have Ty Shandon, who was 26. He was Cyclops in the Apocalypse movie in 2016, Deadpool 2, Dark Phoenix. So he's Cyclops in a number of movies. And the last one I had was that's it. That's all. Yep.
Then I got You God from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Who?
51. You God.
Okay.
You got.
Let's run through some movies quickly here. The Santa Claus, 1994.
Great movie.
Interview with a Vampire, also 1994.
Great movie.
Hillbilly Elegy was 2020, which I did really well in the Oscars and all that. 1988, Ernest Saves Christmas, which is a huge one.
That was funny, man. That was comedy personified right
Serious
there.
acting and writing.
Oh, my goodness.
That's all I got. I don't have movies-wise.
Oh, you missed the big one, dude.
What is it? What did I miss?
Coming out today. Wakanda Forever.
Oh, okay. We're doing on this day. I thought we were doing back in the day. Okay. No, that's huge. So I see people in the chat already went to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's killing it. It's been killing it.
I've never been one to go see the movies early before the full release. I know our friend and colleague Marshall Harris always used to get these tickets to go see movies early.
Yeah,
before
Marshall
they
was
would come
big
out.
on that. Yep.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy I wait till like 3 weeks after the movie's been out because I don't want to deal with the crowds. Yeah. I'm not. I want people sitting on top of me, flinging popcorn in my lap and stuff, man.
And then I hate when people talk and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk through the whole movie, man. Like get up, get out.
Yeah. Say that for home.
I can't go with my wife to the movies because she want to talk. I mean, she want to take her phone out. Don't take the phone out when we're watching the movie.
Fair enough.
I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't. I mean, I don't even answer. Don't do that because then the flashing light inside the food thing. I'm like, I get mad, though. I got you. Mad.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to do it. We have the National Football Show with Dan Cilio coming up. I want to thank Xander Krause producing the program. Thanks to all of you in the chat room, all of you streaming, all of you listening. We are back at same bat time, same bat channel on Monday at 12.
Game day Monday.
We will get you set for the Eagles and Washington. All right. For Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, I am Rob Ellis. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Since 1977 at Rafferty Subaru, we have always been about our customers and the community. Early on, a safe and durable option, we've evolved to become the best overall brand according to Kelley Blue Book. Over the last 14 years, we've donated thousands of dollars through the Subaru Share the Love event and found homes for hundreds of pets. The Rafferty family is proud of our 45 years in business. This month, celebrate our anniversary with special financing on select models. Visit us and see why.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.